What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Doc Holiday. I'm back with another HBCU OverDrive. Oh, it's the holiday special. No pun intended. But make sure that you smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and make sure you hit that notification bell to get everything HBCU OverDrive. Say, man, I'm just let everybody know. Um, I couldn't just bring one person on, just try to do one by one. I got both two signees for Jackson State on the stream. First, welcome out Tristen Sion, 4-star DB from Tallahassee, Florida. And y'all already know who I'm about to bring up, Mr. Esaias Guthrie.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Transferred from Delaware State. Finally made his decision that he wanted to come to Jackson.
Yeah.
So what's going on, everybody? What's going on? See, I had to do two. I got to do 2 for 1 right here, man. Had to do 2 for 1. So, hey, I got the first question I'm about to get out to you is for Tristen. What made you decide to be committed to Jackson State?
Honestly, just for the next generation, and simply because I wanted to play for my people, represent something.
Okay, and hey, E, what about you? Because I know we talked about this, about a couple months ago. But what made you decide to come to Jackson and join Jackson State, though?
Just Coach TC. Coach TC and what he got built. Love what he got going on. Love what he stands for. People love him. And then just the environment and the fan base. You know what I'm saying? They've been on my heels for a while, so they made sure that JSU stayed in my mind 24/7.
All right. And I know your dog, he down here, he in Jackson with Sy'veon, after you made your announcement that you was coming, he made his announcement that he was staying. So how does it feel to be a part of the first class that TC has right now? How I'm gonna start with you, Tristen.
It's a blessing. It's amazing. I get to jump right into college football, and it's just a blessing what TC have going.
Okay. What about you, Esaias?
Like you said, it's a blessing. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot that's going to be going on these next couple of months. Everybody wants to see if we can, still be the good Jackson State team that they've been the past 2 years. So it's gonna be exciting.
Okay. Yeah, and I had Batman on here the last week, and I was like, look, if I could get him, I get the whole trio. I got the whole defensive backfield coming on to the show. But I know we got another guy that's coming in, and Josh Short, that's from Southern. He committed on Christmas Day, so that's pretty much a lot of that's a lot of depth on that in the defensive backfield. And I know you said that you wanted to play. You rather play the safety position because you get to see the field. You get to see all over the field. What about you, Tristen? What do you feel like is your best position on the field?
Definitely cornerback. I like to lock in with my number one, and I just like the island.
Okay. So you ain't scared to go up against the big dog?
No, sir.
So do you play just one side or you want to follow?
It really doesn't matter. Like, if they have a guy and the coaching staff is confident in me, then I'll follow.
Okay. I like that. You gotta have confidence in yourself. So, what is the difference from you playing from Delaware State to now coming to Jackson? What's the difference as far as playing styles from me at the SWAC?
I mean, football is football. On the offensive end, it's not too much different that you can do things. You know what I'm saying? You got your set amount of routes you can run with each other. So that's just how it is. But as far as the difference, it would have to be the environment. The SWAC environment is crazy compared to me. We both got really good football going on, but it's just the environment's really compared to 60,000 fans. I ain't never played in front of 60,000 fans.
Right.
It's definitely gonna be the environment no matter what.
Right. See, man, that's the thing, like, because I told you I'm a J State alum, and we've been doing this. We've been averaging 30, 40, 50,000 people for the longest since I was in school. That was 25. I started school 25 years ago. So we've been doing that for the longest, and for those people who has been saying that we just now doing it because a certain coach was here at the time, I want y'all, I'll just tell them, I want them to go into some sort of just to Google Jackson State attendance since 1995, and you'll see every last bit of the attendance history that we have. Tell them to go Google it, and then it'll shut their mouths up. How do y'all feel about Coach TC Taylor taking? What are y'all thoughts about him taking over from a pretty damn good coach in Coach Prime? How do y'all feel about that? And what was your thoughts about kind of like what was going on with the aftermath after the Celebration Bowl? Yeah.
I feel like it's gonna be great. I feel like he can lead us to an undefeated season and win the Celebration Bowl in this 2023 year.
Okay. What about you, E?
Yeah, I mean, I love Coach TC. Like I said, I love what he stands for. I was a little different because I was actually down in Jackson when the whole thing took place. And so I got to see a little bit how the aftermath kind of unraveled. But me and my family felt like Coach TC was a better fit for me as a person and as a player than Coach Dion. So that's just how we felt. But I mean, Coach Dion did what he did. He's going to continue to do what he does. They got ties and they still talk to this day. So it's all love there, and it's going to be the same thing. We don't plan on dropping the ball.
I feel you. I understand. I feel you. When are y'all going to touch down? Are y'all touching down in Jackson January 4th, or are you going to wait till later on?
I'll be enrolling January 4th, so I'll be there January 4th.
Yeah,
what about you?
I'm moving to my house on I think the 5th, so I'll be there. We got our first team meeting on the 6th.
Okay. All right. So so Tristen, this is a question for you. Since you're the one that's come from the high school ranks, when you came down for your visit, when you came down to Jackson for your visit, what was the first thing that you was amazed at, what you saw, what you was amazed at from Jackson State?
I start from the game. Like I've been to a couple games, but it's just the atmosphere there was crazy. Like I've never seen that much people in a stadium before.
So yeah. When it comes down to it, I know for homecoming, I was at homecoming this year, and we had I think it was like 53,000 people inside the stadium. The rest of them was outside tailgating. Last year, for homecoming, we had 55, and the rest of them was outside tailgating. So we, like I said, we known for having those big crowds, and And I'll tell you this: our fan base is they, it's the only thing that's going on. It's the only thing that's going on in town. So our fan base, we treat they treat the school, the football team like it's a, what I'm saying, if it's an NFL team. So our fan base is that deep rooted within the program. So the fans is gonna treat you like family. If you mess up, they're gonna tell you like, hey, you messing up. Hey, you gotta get back, you know what I'm saying? You gotta get back on track. Because the thing about it is they don't want to see young men like y'all, you know what I'm saying, go by the wayside. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it, but they will treat you like family. So that's the main thing. Most people will say it's the family atmosphere. And they would be like, man, it's that family atmosphere. I'm loving the vibe from the family, from the fans and from the administration. So, Tristen, what will be your major for this year?
Sports management, and I also want to do computer science.
Okay. What about you, E?
I got my last semester coming up, so I'll be finishing out in the liberal studies major, and then I go ahead over to my master's, and after the summer, I think, and then
okay,
law studies major.
Oh yeah, so yeah, he said he ready. He getting that master's, man.
Yeah, man.
So, have y'all met any of the other recruits since last Wednesday, since early signing day? As far as on Twitter, on Instagram, Twitter.
Yeah, I've been talking to a lot.
Oh, okay. So, who do you have? Who do y'all have in mind that you think would be the best fit for the program, and that you will recruit? And just say, hey, Coach O, I got somebody for you.
Me myself, I don't know. Honestly, I don't be like on social media like that, like too much to really see who like in the portal or really just be connecting with the high school guys. I know Coach O and Coach TC do a great job of doing that on their own, and so they do a great job of recruiting. So if I know that some of the fans have added me in a couple of posts, and so if I can reach out to them, I do that.
Okay. What about you, Tristen?
I've been talking to Marcus a lot. Marcus, you probably heard of him. Yeah,
a lot of people that telling me they kind of hit me up and say, "Hey, man, we need to get in the ear of Marcus Stokes and see what's up." I can't do nothing with that, but that's it. To me, that's his decision right there. So, as y'all know, we've been getting a lot of kids, a lot of guys that was in the portal, that jumped in the portal after the season, and we've been getting them to come back. How do you feel if we got maybe, let's say, 3/4 of the defense from the portal back to the school? How would y'all feel? What would y'all think the defense would be ranked with those players coming back?
From my understanding, we only lost like 5 guys total, which was some guys some guys you gotta understand, like in this whole process, especially like going with the whole recruiting thing, like Coach Prime, he's a recruiter. You know what I'm saying? That's literally what he does. And so when you got certain guys committing or coming to a school solely for that one person, you know what I'm saying? If they leave, they're going to jump ship with them. You know what I mean? Like, let's be real. Shador wouldn't have came unless his dad came. You know what I'm saying? So that's just a guy we're not going to get back. Same as Travis, same as Cameron. And so those guys is just like, you got to understand, like, they came for their coach. And so that's respected and that's understood. As far as the other guys, I mean, I think it's only 2 other guys, and that's Niles, who we got back, and then we got another DB. We're gonna see what he does, but I mean, we're gonna be good. We're gonna be good for sure.
Okay, so yeah, we got now. Yeah, just thought about that. We got Niles got it back from the portal. Who was getting kind of recruited heavily by UC Berkeley, and then Jalen Hughes decided that he's going to stay in on the team. And it's a good thing that we need to have those guys back because it's to me that the defense is the one that brought out the camaraderie and brought out the competition in everybody. So it's good to have that type of. It's good to have those players back to come back to the school and to try to continue on what we got. Even though I understand we might be under a different defense. You know, you might be under a different defensive philosophy with the new defensive coordinator that we just got over the weekend. But I think that the defense should be okay and intact, and probably still will be a top 5 defense in the SWAC, and maybe a top 20, maybe a top 20 defense in FCS. So, give me your take on what you want to do, like the sights and sounds of Jackson when you actually get there and you're not on a recruiting trip.
Honestly, I'm ready to compete. It's no more visits, no more that. It's sign up. So everything is about work now.
Okay. What about you, E?
Well, yeah, I mean, like you said, man, I'm ready to get back at it. I sat out the season, so I'm a little antsy to get back into the whole football side of things. But I definitely want to make sure that I get a chance to get with a lot of alumni and a lot of the fans that have hit me up on Twitter and stuff, just so we could, just put a name to the faces and really get to talk and stuff and chop it up. That's all.
Right. So now y'all get to come to the home of one of the greatest, in fact, one of the best defensive backs that ever played at Jackson State, which is Lim Barney. Make sure y'all look him up right there, as far as his tape and highlight and stuff, and go along with the history, because he is the only defensive back right now that we have that's in the Hall of Fame. Of course, y'all know we have the late great Walter Payton that's in the Hall of Fame. Jackie Slater, who was an offensive lineman, played 20 years for one team that he's in the Hall of Fame. And also Robert Brazil, who is a linebacker, we call him Dr. Doom, is in the Hall of Fame. So y'all just kind of keep up with it, because maybe one day y'all get, add y'all name to that legacy right there.
Definitely.
But before we roll up out of here, is there anything you want to tell the fans and tell the people that's in my chat right now, because they've been locked in and listening to both of y'all, and they like y'all right now. So let them know what's going on. Let them know what's up.
Stay tuned. It's gonna be a great season. Wait, show everybody.
Yeah, I mean, no, for sure. Definitely gonna be a great season. We got a lot coming up. We got a lot of guys coming in. A lot of guys are gonna come for the spring. A lot of guys is gonna come for camp in the fall, in the fall and the summer. So just stay tuned and stay with us. I know y'all will. But for sure.
All right, y'all, man. So there y'all have it, man. I have one half of one of the best defensive backfields that's going to be in the SWAC. Esaias Guthrie and Tristen Sion, man. Plug in your Instagrams or in Twitter bios for people, they can follow you on there.
Instagram at I am Tristen Sion, Twitter 7K.
All right.
My Instagram is say.less, that's sai.less, and then on Twitter it's just my full name.
All right, man. I'm gonna keep in touch with y'all, and we can do some big things. And I probably will be in Jackson sometime right before summertime come around. But we'll stay locked in, and I will try to get we can do some updates on you, and all the way up until spring game. Is that cool? Is that cool with both of y'all?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, man. All right, man. As y'all seen, we got that was half of the DB room, part of the best DB room that's gonna be in the SWAC at Jackson State. Man, oh yeah, I'm gonna tell everybody. I'm sorry, I forgot to get this to y'all. Merry Christmas to everybody. Merry Christmas. Merry belated Christmas to everybody, even though I didn't have a show yesterday. This is my holiday show today. So I say Merry Christmas. Yesterday was a good day, was a great day for me and my family that we had went over to my sister, my mother's house and everything. And we actually had a good time yesterday. We actually had a great time yesterday for Christmas. Ended up for my Christmas present, I ended up getting a new laptop. So your boy feeling good, feeling great. About to open up this stream as always. Y'all know how we do. In fact, I got my boy already. I got my boy Raw Troop DJ.
Hey man, what's good, man?
What's good, bro?
Even though I got the link, man, I wanted I didn't want to jump in during the interview out of respect. So
you good.
Yeah, I was waiting for that, but good job on the interview, brother. And one thing about Tristen Sion and the brother from Delaware State, how do you say his name? Guthrie? Josias. Yeah, I didn't want to say his name wrong. But one thing that they did, they set a trend.
Yeah.
And that's and I can tell you, I can't predict the future, but they seem like brothers who are staying at Jackson State for the long haul. Like they want to be at a HBCU.
Right.
They committed to Jackson State because of Jackson State. And that's the most important part. A lot of these kids in the portal or in high school, they're being recruited by coaches and committing because of the coach. I remember my father told my brother, and I say this all the time, he told him, don't make a 4-year decision, make a 40-year decision when you select a college.
Yes, sir, man. That was in fact, who was that said that? That was Bruce Mitchell said that to me on the last show. My last show before Christmas came around. He said I'd rather do something for 40 years than make a great decision for 40 years than to not to make one. And it stuck, it stuck with me. It stuck with him. So I'm like, if y'all don't know, y'all don't understand, these kids, and I say kids, these kids are pretty much got their head on straight. And y'all heard what Esaias said. He said he has like a semester or two to before he can get to his master's.
That's impressive.
So even though he was out, y'all, he did not go by the wayside and not stay busy. You know what I'm saying? And that's the best thing you want to have right there.
Man, this JSU team, man.
Oh, we got Mr. Ford in the chat.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Mr. Ford, man.
Mr. Ford, how you doing? Merry Christmas, sir.
Hey, how you doing?
Man, I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Yeah, I listened to the interview too. I didn't want to interfere. That's why I was listening. It was great. And see, what I keep saying is this: if you're gonna get them kind of high level athletes like that, because that's definitely FBS right there, we got to have a top notch coaching staff. Because them kids right there, if you come with some sorry coaching, they gonna know it.
Yeah.
And so we got to have top notch coaching to go with that. If you're gonna get top notch talent, you got to have the best in the business in the coaching ranks.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Now we the Christmas presents came yesterday for Jackson.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
So we got one, and hey DJ, I was surprised about this. I thought we weren't gonna be able to get it. I thought we weren't gonna get them. But PJ Hatter from
yeah,
Spring
everybody's
Westfield,
talking about him. Everybody's talking about him.
If DJ know about you know DJ, you know about Spring, about West, Westfield. Like you don't get HBCU talent from a school like that.
Right.
Yes. Spring Westfield, there's some good SEC schools go around that area because it's one of the best areas in Houston in talent, that Spring area.
Yeah.
Man, this kid right here, I looked at his film, Mr. Ford and Doc. PJ Hatter should have been ranked. And I'm not saying this because he committed to an HBCU at Jackson State.
Oh, yeah. He's big time.
I don't know how in the heck he wasn't ranked. And when you're in one of the toughest 6A divisions in Texas, and in their schedule, they played against North Shore. And they lost, but they played really well against them.
They were close against North Shore in that game.
And they were close against Duncanville, that won the state championship game. So he's been playing against elite competition. And I'm glad this new coaching staff, and Mr. Wood, we talked about this on the stream we had about the competition. They didn't have this before. It's just Shadir and there's a couple of no-name backups.
Right.
Now it's different with TC.
Yes,
but
sir.
have y'all heard about the recruit from the University of Florida? He had got an offer from the University of Florida to use the N-word, and now they've rejected him, and now Jackson State is going after him. Have y'all heard about that?
I ain't heard about that one.
Y'all got just a kid. It looked like he might be coming to Jackson. He was in Florida. I have to pull his name up.
Marcus Stokes.
That's it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it looked like JSU might get him.
It's a mistake. He's still a kid. It's a mistake,
Yeah, they say he was singing. He was singing a rap song.
Tell me what other kid don't sing a rap song in
There you go.
the locker room. tell me what kid did not sing a rap song in the locker room.
Right.
It makes no sense. So yeah, bring on Marcus Stokes. We'll take him.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. They look like they're gonna get him.
Yeah, we will take him. Let's see. My guy asked me if I looked at the film of Joko Willis.
Where's he from?
Auburn. I looked at his film. He plays like a stand-up linebacker. Kind of mixed like James Houston / Niles Gaddy.
Oh, okay.
His get up is super fast. If it's out of his 3-point stance, super fast, just like that.
Now, where's his hometown? Where's he from?
Let me see, because I actually Googled him last. I actually looked him up yesterday. Somebody asked me about it yesterday. He's from LaGrange, Georgia.
Woo! Listen, that's not far from Atlanta. That's about 50 or 60 miles from Atlanta. They got a history of outstanding athletes. They're the Grangers, the LaGrange Grangers. They've won state championships throughout the last 50 or 60 years. If he's from LaGrange, he can play. Auburn usually gets a lot of their players. They had an outstanding quarterback many years ago. Name was Vince Sutton. And what they did, they cheated him out of the quarterback position for David Schuler. Remember David Schuler?
Yeah.
He couldn't tote his what I'm saying. But anyway, I think Vince he's deceased now, but he was awesome. He won the state championship, I believe, in 1983.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But he went over to Alabama. One of the worst mistakes he could have made. He was brought there by Ray Perkins. You remember Ray Perkins?
Yeah, I know about Ray Perkins.
Yeah, and
he was after Bear Bryant.
That's right. He took over after Bear Bryant died. And the reason they started David Schuler over Vince Sutton is because Ray Perkins played for Don Schuler with the Baltimore Colts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at Marcus Stokes. Yeah, he's he a gamer.
That's what they're saying. They're saying Jackson might get him. Like you said, that quarterback room is going to be thick. Because really, they haven't allowed anybody to compete for quarterback since Shadua been there.
Nah.
They didn't allow anybody to compete against him. That's just like they telling the people in Colorado. He's the quarterback, and that's it.
Hey, Mr. Ford, but Colorado got a 3-star quarterback, man. They ain't.
Yeah, I heard that.
No, I'm being sarcastic, Mr. Ford, on that because, like, for the quarterback position in the Power 5, you would think they would try to get a 4-star.
Yeah,
it's the same.
Yeah. Well, you know, the national media done started. The first thing they're talking about is Prime Academy or Prime, whatever that school Prime had that went under. They talking about that. Now they're accusing Dion of nepotism as far as Shadua is concerned. So the national media has started. Yeah.
The only question about it is will what he did in the SWAC translate to the Pac-12?
No, you know me and you done talked about that, Doc. I told you, Southern Cal gonna smash them. UCLA gonna smash them. Washington gonna smash them. Utah gonna smash them. Oregon gonna smash them. And then Oregon State just picked up the big boy from Clemson.
Angole.
Yeah. No, man. They gonna listen. Some of them Negroes gonna walk from Colorado back to Jackson State. You see, up there in that 7-degree weather and all that, because they think that's just for now. That's gonna be year round. You in the mountain. You in Siberian America. Listen, 1.7% black in Boulder, and you leaving Jackson, Mississippi, one of the blackest cities in America.
Yeah.
Some of the prettiest women in the world. Okay. We'll see.
Hey, my wife said, she said, preach. She in the kitchen right now. She hear you, Mr. Ford. She's like,
tell her I said hello. Listen, you done left Jackson, how you doing? Yeah, hey man, that's non-negotiable. That you gonna leave Jackson, Mississippi to go to Boulder, Colorado?
Mr. Ford said Siberia.
Hey, he said, hey, pin that, Israel, pin that. He said, he said pretty women, thick 36 and thick 37 gonna be out there.
There you go. Listen, all they got to do is bring them recruits there and let them J-Sets dance for them. You get any recruit you want.
Oh man, he said let the J-Sets dance for them.
That's all they got to do. Bring them to the game. Let them watch the J-Sets.
But what about the? I'm gonna ask y'all something. What about the pickup from Southern?
Yeah, the DB.
Josh Short, yes, Phil's brother.
That's the quarterback's cousin, right?
No, that's his brother.
Oh, that's his brother?
Yep, that's his older brother.
Hey, okay.
He said, my brother. He like my brother at Jackson. I might well go to Jackson too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh Lord, y'all don't think we dying up in here, y'all talking about leaving Dick 20 for the pasty 19.
Man, I'm telling you, man, they'll see though. Hey, I told you the national media started. But that magic that was in Jackson, that's not going to transfer to Bold. I'm telling you now. That's not going to transfer. Now, you know I said that from the beginning, Doc.
Yeah, you did say that. You said
No,
that.
that's not going to transfer now.
And like I said, I told them, you know, my whole thing is it's going to take a minute for you to get your program up. And most of these people is not going to want to wait 2 or 3 years. They thinking that they want you to do the same thing that you did in Jackson.
And it's not happening.
It's not going to happen like that.
You think them people want to see what's the rapper name in Atlanta here? That got Holyfield's house. What's his name? You know he's on all them franchises. What is it? Wingstop.
Rick Ross.
You think they want to see Rick Ross in Boulder?
Nah, they ain't gonna see no Rick Ross in Boulder.
Please.
They're like, we have an image to protect.
There you go.
Oh man.
Man, Mel Tucker left out of Colorado quicker than I ain't gonna say it. Poor play. Mel stayed 1 year, bro. Man, Mel got out of there so quick. Wasn't even funny.
Oh man, I don't blame him, man. I do not blame him. But my thing about this is though, when I'm just, you know, interviewing those kids, it's like you see some hunger, you see some fire, you see competitiveness inside these kids now. These kids, it's not. Now we get, you know, now HBCUs got a seat at the table.
Yeah,
we got our seat at the table. We got our seat back at the table. We ain't, you know how it is during the holiday season where the kids got the small table and the grown folk got the big table. HBCUs for the longest was at the small table.
Yeah.
PWIs was at the big table. Now we getting up from the small table to the big table because you can't tell us who we can get, who we can't get.
Yeah. Well, see, it's a movement. See, I remember back in the 60s and 70s when every game Tennessee State played was a classic. Every game Florida A&M played was a classic. Every game Grambling played was a classic. Every game Jackson State played was a classic. Even Prairie View, Morgan State. We getting back to that. That's what we're doing. We're getting back to that.
Yep.
That's what we're doing. Because see, what they was trying to tell us, which I knew was a lie, was that since Prime went to Colorado, the movement was over. I knew that was a lie. All you got to do is bring them kids to the campus.
Let me see something. Somebody said Marcus Stokes might be at Jackson State. I don't know if he got committed or he offered. They offered, but
I think they've offered him. Because one of them kids, I don't know which one of them kids it is, but one of them kids knows him or something and was pushing for him to come.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, they've offered him. It's just a matter of him accepting now.
Oh, yeah. Niles Gaddy coming back home.
Oh, yeah. That's right. You're right. Aaron Sanders, you're right. That's the one. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they offered him. Because he was a recruiter of the Florida Gators. Yeah, he was a recruit for them. They took back the offer.
Okay, so we offered him, then he probably should be signing on National Signing Day then.
Yeah, because you know Florida lost 26 kids to the portal. Was it 26? I saw something about Florida, the Gators. They lost 26 kids to the portal.
I think somebody else lost like 26 kids. Oh, it was
it A&M? Texas A&M?
Texas A&M. Texas A&M lost 26 kids to the portal, and they getting snatched up left and right.
Listen, Nicholas Malachi said PJ Hatter gives me Justin Fields. You know, Justin Fields. I've watched him from the time he was a little boy. Matter of fact, his dad worked in the school system. He was security. His mom was a lawyer. Listen, let me tell you something about Justin Fields. Justin Fields can throw a baseball almost 100 miles an hour. He could have won baseball. He was from a school outside the city called, I think it was Harrison High.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they did him. And listen, the dumbest thing he did was sign with Georgia, and the smartest thing he did was to leave Athens because they was going to do him in up there at UGA. Yeah. He was a super athlete
Yeah, that's the reason why he went to Ohio State.
and turned it out, didn't he?
Yeah. So,
Man.
hey, DJ, I got a question for you, man.
What's up, bro?
Hey, what do you think? How many players you think we need to get as far as for the offensive line? For offensive line, and I think our defensive line should be fine. But how many more
for
kids?
JSU?
Yeah,
You always need to get depth, but I'm just going to say
that's
projected offensive line.
Yeah,
Since we got 3 returning, which is Debo Hayes, Henry, and Zach Bro.
yeah.
There's one more, right?
Debo, Zach, and
Henry.
Evan Henry. So yeah. So those 3 return. You got Jasper Freeze that's still there. You got big what's the kid that we got from USC?
Yeah, I forgot his name, but
I can't think of his name either. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, so he's still there. So he was redshirted so he could shed some of that weight.
Yeah, because he came in late, didn't he?
Yeah, he came in late.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you this, Doc. Rudy Hubbard used to always say you could never get enough offensive linemen, and back then he believed you could never get enough running backs. Because I was in high school when his name is Max Gibbs.
Yeah.
Rudy Hubbard would have 20 running backs and about 20 offensive linemen, sometimes more than that. So they believed at that time, that was back in the 70s, that you could never have enough running offensive linemen. I believe that too. Because you got to remember, boy, when you go in them trenches, that's legalized fighting right there.
And Doc, if I had to put a number, just on the safe side, I'd say 4 offensive linemen, 4 more.
4 more?
Yeah.
Well, how many they got now?
We just read about 4. They probably got more than that. They probably got like 6.
I think about the first game of the season. How many, fam, you had, 3 or 4 offensive linemen go out for the year in that North Carolina game, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like 3 of them they went out for the year.
That's right, because they all coming back. I think they all coming back.
Yep.
So you know how strong that offensive line gonna be next year.
And offensive line and defensive line do need to improve from last year. They do need to improve. So I'm looking at it. Whoever, as far as offense goes, whoever TC signs gets as the offensive coordinator.
That's what everybody's waiting on.
That's all it is.
And listen, now the word is he has his staff. It's just a matter of their applications being processed. But from what I was told, he has known for some years who he's known that he was going to eventually be a head coach. He knows who he wants. From what I'm hearing, that he already has them. It's just a matter of their applications being processed.
I know one of the defensive coordinator is Jonathan Bradley.
That's been printed.
At Alcorn. So
I'm waiting on offensive line and offense coordinator.
Right.
That's what I'm waiting. I want to see who's going to be the offensive line coach and who's going to be the offensive coordinator. I got to see that.
Yeah, I'm looking at Ronald Hunt said, Coach Hubbard had powerhouses down in Florida.
Oh man, listen. Let me tell you something, and a lot of people have forgotten it. Now the old heads at Florida A&M remember. He had one of the greatest defensive coordinators I've ever seen in my life, and I've seen a million of them. He had a guy named Fred Goldsmith. Goldsmith came to him from high school. Now, eventually Goldsmith would be the head coach at Rice, and he would be the head coach at Duke. But that man was so awesome as a defense coordinator down at Florida A&M. I don't know if he's in the Black College Hall of Fame, but he should be. I watched him, Doc, he got there. He came to FAM in 74, and I think he left after FAM won the 1AA championship in 78. He left and either went to Air Force or he went to Arkansas. But that man, listen, he didn't say nothing during the game. And at the end of the game, you would have minus 30 yards rushing. You could not run on that defense. He had a boy that was a sprinter. His name was, what was that guy's? Harold Oliver. Them fam, you people know who I'm talking about. It was Harold Oliver. He had 2 brothers. Both of them were defensive ends, but they stood up. One was named Jeff Grady, and Frank Grady. One went to the New York Giants. And he had one linebacker was named Joey Yates. The DBs, he had D. Tyson was from Miami. He had Spanky Ramsey. Now, Spanky Ramsey, he was recruited by Bear Bryant, but he chose FAMU. That's what I'm telling you. We back to the 70s. His name was Gifford Ramsey. Gifford and D. Tyson. Tyson eventually went to the Denver Broncos, but he didn't last long. Okay. Now, they started as freshmen, but Gifford Ramsey was recruited by Bear Bryant. Yeah, he had another kid named, they called him Clifford Lane. What's it? Clifford Lane, and the other one was named, one was named Oliver. You remember the boy that was the quarterback for Georgia?
What year?
This was under Mark Rick. His daddy was a defensive back for
David Green.
No. He was sitting on the bench behind David Shockley. Remember Donald Shockley?
DJ Shockley.
Listen, DJ Shockley's daddy was from Jacksonville. He played DB for Florida A&M.
Oh, man. Well, I see Tristen. I'm looking on Twitter. Tristen out here he trying to get the DBs to come to Jackson State. He on his recruiting.
Oh yeah.
These kids is they are wanting to come.
Man,
yeah.
Hey, Doc, I really hope, I truly hope Malachi Wyman comes back. I just want to see a dominant receiver like that, brother.
Oh, you ain't kidding. He'll go pro. He listen.
Yes.
Let me tell you something. TC gonna put it in his hand. He gonna put it in his hand. You know what I've been thinking too? I just hope that they don't ruin that kid at Alabama State. Now that was a blessing to get D. Davis. Don't. I just hope Coach Robinson and them don't ruin that kid, man. Don't do him like that. All he needs is a good offense coordinator, a play caller. Don't do him like that. Come on now. I hate when we get these big time kids and then we ruin them kids.
Yeah, I think Malachi needs to just be on the hip of TC.
Yeah,
you got to be on. You got to be on his hip. If you know how it was when this past season, DJ and Mr. Ford, when Nugget he asked Prime for everything. You know, he was asking him, critique him.
Yeah,
like he was a sponge. Like he took in everything, even though he was in his doghouse a lot this past season. He was still asking questions and critiquing and wanted to know how his form, what he did wrong, what he need to correct. Like that's what Malachi Wyman needs to be with TC Taylor.
Yeah, well, see, one thing you got to understand about when you become a professional athlete, a lot of franchises don't train. They feel like you should know it when you get there. And so what they do is, if you don't have it, they get rid of you and go get somebody else. College is totally different. College is a training ground. In the pros, they expect you to already know it. A lot of people don't understand. In the pros, they ain't doing a whole lot of coaching now. They expect you to already know it. That's why I keep saying it is imperative that we get coaches in the SWAC, whether it be position coaches, coordinators, who can develop talent. Because talent-wise, we're getting an FBS kid.
Right.
But what we don't have on a lot of these programs, we don't have coaches who can develop a kid from raw talent into an NFL or a CFL player. That's our problem. And that's what I'm saying about that D. Davis. They got to go get an offensive coordinator for him. Come on now. Y'all saw Harry Williams this year. He's awful. He wouldn't be good if he was in a junior high program. He was terrible.
There's a lot of kids that's in the portal that's offensive linemen.
Hey. And they would listen, they saw Jackson State on TV, but they brought, one game I'll never forget. They said they had 200 top high school prospects. It It was either Southern or it was Campbell. They said they had 200 high school prospects on the sideline.
Yeah, it was homecoming. That was
Campbell. That's right. So they know.
And Mr. Ford, that's why, man, I've talked to a lot of people about this. That's when I had a feeling like something's odd. You have around 200 recruits, but you only had 4 to 5 commitments. That was odd to me. That was the writing on the wall. Yeah,
I heard a story, and when I heard that story, that's when I know that we had been lied to. And the story said that this summer, I think it was Kevin Mathis' son, wanted to commit to Jackson State, and he was told not to because Coach Prime might be leaving. So, it's been something up. It was like some deception there. Some things are going on behind the scenes we didn't know about.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I figured it was a lot of kids that was actually, like I said, they was getting looked at to go to Jackson State. Somebody put a bug in their ear, like, "Hey, don't do it yet."
Don't do it yet. Yeah. Because I'm hearing now, from the articles I'm reading. Listen, Prime was talking to them people this summer. I'm saying, I heard he was shopping this summer.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So that's why I'm glad TC got the job, because it's obvious he didn't want to be down there. If he was shopping this summer, he didn't want to be down there. So I like for people, if you're not happy, hey, we don't begrudge you. Move on.
Yeah. So that's my whole thing. Like when it comes to stuff like that, like to me, yes, you as a parent, and I understand that's Kevin Mathis' son.
Yeah.
But he's the coach. He's a coach, but first and foremost, he's a parent still. So let him take care of his son and see what is going to be the best fit for his son.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing that you did for Shador and Shiloh to see what's the best for them.
That's right.
Shiloh, DJ, you already know Shiloh didn't want to go. He did not want to leave to go to Colorado. He said,
and I'm hearing the daughter doesn't want to leave. Is that true? They're saying the daughter don't want to leave.
Yeah, she don't want to leave either. She's on basketball scholarship. She loved the team.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. But listen, I can remember when I was a kid back in the 60s, and my Boy Scout, we went to not Boy Scout, we went to Cub Scouts. And he would take us to see Florida State. I saw the first black guy to play for Florida State. His name was Eddie McMillan. He was the fastest guy on the team. He was a defensive back. And he would take us, and they had the big stadium, Doak Campbell Stadium and all that. But my favorite was when we would go over to Bragg Stadium, and at that time, Florida A&M star quarterback was named Ken Riley. And so even though Florida State had all that stuff, I love being over there at Bragg Stadium. That's where I want to be. So that's why I said, let people go where they're happy. Because I was always happy at Bragg Stadium. I want to see them Rattlers, and then I want to see that during on Marching 100. That was it back in the late 60s. That was it for me.
Somebody said, so Carl Reed lied. He said Prime wasn't telling recruits he wasn't coming back.
Carl, I don't know if he was telling recruits, but that was some thing from these latest articles I've been reading. Listen, this stuff, like I'm telling you, it's a lot of stuff was being done behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hey, Mr. Campbell, you're right. Because let me tell you something. Back then, this was the late 60s. We would go see FAMU. FAMU, it was like an equivalent of University of Miami, Florida State, and Florida as one team with all black boys. That's what Florida A&M was back in the 60s. And I'm telling you, Ken Riley was the quarterback. And I'll never forget, Tennessee State came down there, and they had this guy. He could throw with both. He was ambidextrous. He was from Houston, Texas. They called him the Lord's Prayer. He didn't travel with the team. Wait a minute. Let me get his name was Eldridge Dickey. Now, let me tell you, all of y'all listening here. Now, we done talked about his quarterback. That guy, Eldridge Dickey, is probably the greatest black college quarterback in the last 60 years. Now, he went to the NFL, and the Raiders messed over him. But let me tell you something. He could throw with his right and his left.
Hope he come back. He was cooking, man.
Oh yeah, he coming back. He coming back.
Man, well, this is a great stream, brother. You know I was gonna be here to support, man.
Oh yeah, man. I thank you, man. It was crazy because I was like, man, I want to do both of them, but I mean, I want to do one each, but I was like, man, I just got to do both of them. I don't care.
Yeah, it was a good man. Great. That's you got different perspectives, and yeah, you did your thing, man. And wanted to say talking about what transpired with Coach Prime and stuff like that, it all makes sense. If you think about it, it all makes sense, unfortunately. But the good thing is, with TC Taylor, he's not missing a beat, brother.
Oh, no.
And can you imagine this next signing day, though? Tune in to February 2nd. That's all I can say.
That's all I'm gonna say too. I got Sean and Mr. Ford.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you, Mr. Ford.
Okay,
What's up, Sean?
Oh, no. I'm not trying to break Mr. Ford bill, but what's up, everybody? Go ahead, Mr. Ford. I'm gonna let you finish.
Okay, what was I saying?
You talking about Eldridge Dickey?
Eldridge Dickey. He was from Houston, Texas. Listen, the word at Tennessee State was that if he hadn't played football, he would have been an All-American basketball player. He was he came there from Houston, Texas. He was drafted first round, I think, by the Oakland Raiders, but the Raiders also took Ken Stabler. You remember they called him Snake Stabler?
Yeah.
And see, it was a big mess because at that time, everybody wanted Stabler to be because he had played for Bear Bryant. But this guy was 10 times better than Stabler, but it was a whole lot of bad stuff going on. They did. See, people don't understand. When you are a black quarterback, you are looked upon as the CEO. And a lot of college and pro fans, they don't want to see no black man as no CEO of their team. They don't want that. And he caught hell out there with Oakland Raiders. He really did. There's a book that's been written about him. The book is about him. Guy who just passed, name was Marlon Briscoe. Briscoe was the starting quarterback for the Denver Broncos, but eventually he was a wide receiver with the Miami Dolphins. If you go back and look at those teams, Miami had a team that went undefeated. You remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. He was one of the wide. It was him, Paul Warfield, Howard Twilley, and a boy named Otto Stowe. Those were the wide receivers. Yeah. But listen, Ms. Kim, I'm telling you, this guy Dickey didn't even travel with Tennessee State's football team. When I was a little kid, they brought him into Bragg Stadium. They landed him in a helicopter. So you can go back and look it up. He didn't even travel with the team.
Oh man!
They landed him in a helicopter. And when they would do the pregame drills, they would have a guy on his right hand and his left hand. He would throw the ball with his right hand, and then they would give to him on left. He would throw it with his left. Go ask anybody from that era. I was a little boy at that time. I'm sitting there looking. Everybody was talking about it. They called him the Lord's Prayer. That was his nickname. They got some film on him right now. You can go to YouTube, put in Tennessee State versus Ball State. Okay, you can see him. He was about 6'4". Oh, I mean, you talking about swag, man? Please. He trained Joe Gilliam Jr. He trained him. Yeah, Dickey trained him. Now, at the end of his life, he became a minister. He died. I'm trying to think. He died maybe the late 90s, but he became a minister. But he was from Houston, Texas. Because see, at that time, so you have to understand the geography of Tennessee State. See, Tennessee State sits in the middle of all of these states. See, Tennessee State back in the day, this is when I was growing up, they would recruit Georgia, Florida, Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, Texas. That was because see, you have to understand about Tennessee. Tennessee doesn't have a whole lot of black people. You want to see the black people, you got to go to Memphis.
Yeah.
Okay. And so they depended on out-of-state students.
Okay.
You have to understand their history. They got a serious history now. They got a serious history. Now, see, we would be waiting on them to come to Tallahassee, Florida. That's what we waiting on. Because, baby, look here. That was Jake Gaither against Big John Merritt. Listen, I was in 6th or 7th grade. Tennessee State's entire defense got drafted. That would not, and check this out. Too Tall Jones was on the bench. They had a boy he was from Texas. They called him Joe Turkey Neck Jones. He was the one who hit Terry Bradshaw and put him into convulsions. Go back and look it up. Look at the hit with the guy from the Cleveland Browns. They called him Joe Turkey Jones. He played at Tennessee State. He was taught that maneuver by Old Man Gillum. Because they used to call Old Man Gillum Tick because they said he was a lunatic because he was brilliant.
I'm about to show you. So I'm putting on a string. I shared a string. So Eldridge Dickey.
Eldridge Dickey. Called him the Lord's Prayer.
Yeah, he had my presentation.
Man.
You gotta mute him. Yeah, he and my HBCU football presentation that I did a while ago.
Listen, he the greatest black college quarterback in the last 60 years.
And he could run too.
He could do it all. I'm telling you, he could throw with his right hand, his left hand, he could punt, and he could kick off.
Hey, Mr. Ford, you said he's 6'4", right? Yeah, he looks the part.
Yeah, he was the truth. He was drafted number 1 by the Oakland Raiders.
You said he was Vince Young before Vince Young?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now Vince couldn't handle that, babe. This boy, this man, you ever heard of Vince kicking off and doing all that?
Nah.
Except for that part.
Yeah, could he punt?
Hold on now.
Yeah. That's why I said he Vince Young before Vince Young.
Man, he looked like he was wrong.
Campbell said compared to Cam Newton.
Yeah, but Cam couldn't do all the stuff this guy could do.
Well, Cam was bigger,
Man,
had more weight on him.
Just listen at the nickname. They called him the Lord's Prayer.
Yeah.
They ain't called Cam Newton nothing like that. They called him the Lord's Prayer.
He wore 10, man. That's why I said.
Yeah, that was him. He wore number 10.
So this is 1965, the Grantland Rice Bowl, right
here. That's it. Yeah. Yeah,
bro,
see, Joe Gillum Jr. won it too. He went down in 70. He went down in 71 and won the Grantland Rice Bowl, I think, against McNeese State.
I wasn't even born, bro, when I heard about this game when I was a kid getting my hair cut.
Listen, man. See, when I was growing up, Tennessee State would take on the whole SWAC. They would make an appearance in Atlanta to play Morris Brown. They would play Alabama State in Birmingham. They would come to play Jackson. They would play Southern. They would play Grambling, and then they would play Texas Southern. That was every game for Tennessee State back in the day was a classic. That's why you always hear me complaining about Tennessee State, because I know what they once were. That's why you hear me complaining all the time.
Right.
They are a shell of themselves.
Now I want to say this, Mr. Ford. Growing up with my grandpa Paul and them that lived in Fifth Ward throughout the years, they always said the Lord's Prayer, but I never knew the name. Yeah. Eldridge Dickey.
Dickey, baby. He was the truth.
Man.
And when he left and went to the pros, Joe Gilliam Jr. took over.
And he was bad.
Oh, he was the truth, man.
He looked like he was the truth.
He was the truth, man.
I just had to look it up for myself because I remember Mr. Ford was telling us about it one time
Jefferson Street Joe
on All Script, and it's like I ain't never heard nobody that could throw right and left a football.
Right, yeah. Now let me tell you, that was another kid that we watched do that. He was from Morris Brown. He was from Miami, Florida. Matter of fact, it was a war because he initially signed with Bethune-Cookman, but the coach at Morris Brown at that time was named Lambert Reed. Lambert had worked for Charlie Pale. Back in the day, Charlie Pale was the coach of the University of Florida. I think Charlie eventually committed suicide. But Lambert brought that boy to Morris Brown. He could throw. He was ambidextrous too. He could throw with right and left. I just can't think of his name right now. This was in the late 70s. Oh, I can't think of his name.
Tennessee State was gonna get another person that was unpredictable.
Fernando Burgess. If anybody been here from Marsh Brown, tell him about Fernando Burgess. That was his name. Now he went to the Dolphins. He was a special team player, but they say Shula didn't like him because he was hurting people on the punt returns and all that stuff. That's how he made the Dolphins. They turned him into a wide receiver, but he really made the team being a special teams player.
Man.
Yeah, his name was Fernando Burgess. Yeah.
Hey, Sean.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna get your perspective about what's going on, like what Jackson State's recruiting, early recruiting. What do you think about, like, how you feel, and what do you think about the recruits that TC got coming in?
The truth, with no sugarcoating, I expected this. The reason that I expected it is because I've said from one show to another, Jackson State has the best dope on the block. No matter the strides that you might see at FAMU, Jackson State has way more momentum than people assumed that they wouldn't have after Coach Prime would leave. And everybody else can debate if he was recruiting for or against. It doesn't even matter. Jackson State is a name that is ringing more bells than not.
There you
go. I'm going to go ahead and say this to you now. I've told everybody before that my cousin Corey Phillips was an assistant athletic personnel, director of player personnel at LSU before he was hired by Deion's staff to be the director over the same course. So he got an increase in pay and position to go and be with Coach Prime. I saw him yesterday, right? I saw him yesterday because he's home for a few days, and they were still landing kids, and we talk football, we talk the recruiting process, what he's been doing. He's responsible for landing that last receiver that they just got out of Louisiana, that 4-star kid.
Right, I know who you're talking about.
And what he said to me was this. Now, mind you, he was at LSU. He's not paying attention to what's going on in the SWAC. He's busy himself. He's recruiting for LSU. His efforts went into what LSU's recruiting class is this year, right? But he was able to retain a couple of he was able to get, one or two people that he had his eyes on rather than the transfer portal and at skill position. He made it known to me that Jackson State would still do good or have a certain level of pedigree and expectation recruiting without Coach Prime being there, because because it became that much more interesting to the kid that was like, you know what, man, I can still take this route. You know what I mean? If things don't pan out, I still got the portal. You see what I'm saying? So, but there's more hype around it still in kids' ears. The name is still ringing in kids' ears. Like when he goes and he sits into kids' living rooms and talking to their parents and stuff. This before this early signing period, it was some kids that was still considering Jackson State right there. And I'm talking about an LSU when he's an LSU cat. He's going and he's talking to people, and he was like, well, I'm considering Jackson State, and then I'm hearing, yada, yada, yada. This is before he even becomes Colorado. So there ain't no panic, bro. Like, the effort is always there. You just got, like I said, good dope sell itself. You got to continue to be what you be. You got to support the kids, your program. You got to do things different. It's got to be a collective now. You don't have a Coach Prime that's going to keep the light on. It's bright. You just got to keep it from dimming.
Right.
And but no, I applaud TC. I think that he learned from his predecessors. I think he learned a lot from Coach Prime, and I think he's utilizing everything that all the time he spent with him back in Texas that nobody knew about. You know what I'm saying? I think that's paying dividends for him on the recruiting trail because he's mastered some of the pitch. He's been honest, and he has the gift of gab, and he knows what it takes to sell the program because it's in his hands. So, You know what I'm saying? Like he said, him and Coach O, they know what to do because of that time spent. And I think if there was anything that you learned from this last regime, the ending the Coach Prime era and going into the TC era, is that this is how you want to market your program.
Right.
You stay out in front in your program. Yeah, Willie down there at FAMU, he gonna ring some bells. He's already got a thing going for you. But you continue to keep these things in play, you're going to be able to get some of these young cats, some of these portal cats, retain some of these other cats, go get you some pick of the litter over here and be able to put a team out. And like Aaron said in the chat, man, all of these efforts is still not stuck yet until after spring, because you'll have some people coming in during, after spring or leaving and stuff like that. Yeah. But you want to build to get to that point to where, okay, going into the spring, this is what I got. Coming out of the spring, I'm good with what I got. Now I know what we need to bring in. I need another D tackle. I need another guard or left tackle. Just some of those things right there. But he's answering the bell, man. Get a man, just do move on from Coach Prime. There's still conversations between the two coaches. There's a relationship there that nobody can break, that'll be between them two. And I think that's going to pay dividends for Jackson State in the long run, and it's going to help TC get to where he need to be. Because if he gets this team, if this team goes through the SWAC again and ends up in the Celebration Bowl, there's going to be a different effort. Now, at offensive coordinator, if he can lock it down and continue to bring that hype, I really think I think the ideas of a Cam is there, but I don't know.
You think Cam Newton wants to be an offensive coordinator?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I say this to you, Mr. Ford? That was the name that came out of the mouth of my cousin.
For real?
That's at Colorado. Cam Newton. There's a heavy interest in Cam wanting to be an offensive coordinator because he want to show his skills.
Okay. All right. I didn't know that.
Now, if
I know he's opening up 2 or 3 cigar bars up here. I didn't know he wanted to coach football.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Now, that's coming from, you know what I'm saying? That's coming from someone with good intel onto what's going on back in Jackson, because they having that. They still, I can't stress this as much as I want to stress this. They still talk about Jackson State in Colorado.
Oh yeah.
In the war room.
They ain't gonna forget it. They ain't gonna forget that.
In the war room.
Yeah, I can believe that.
It's still a topic of conversation among the recruiting coordinators.
Well, you left Paradise and went to the Siberia.
Yeah.
So they're gonna keep talking about
it. I'm still laughing about that. He said he went to Siberia. Hey, if you did not listen to this earlier, Sean, Mr. Ford said he is in Siberia, America, bro.
But Sean, let me say this right here. Now, everybody up here in Atlanta, all these FAMU folk, they got a big smile on their face. And you ask them what you smiling about, because they said Willie gonna take over the SWAC. Now, if TC win that SWAC and then go to the Celebration Bowl, that's gonna put a lot of pressure on Mr. Willie Simmel. Because let me tell you something about them folks down in FAMU. They got to have championship. That's what they all about. And if TC run through this thing again, listen, it's going Willie Simmel's seat might get a little hot. I'm gonna be honest with you. Because these folk up here in this Atlanta area, because I know them all, they swear that Willie is getting ready to take over the SWAC. That's all of them. That's why all of them laughing and grinning, because they say Willie gonna take over the SWAC. So if TC do it, that's gonna put some heat on Willie. Isn't that right, Mr. Campbell?
Yeah, you gotta put that seat gonna be hot.
Yes, it is, baby.
If you don't get it done, because just think about this, DJ and Sean. FAMU has been 9-2 for the last 5 years. 5. 2 years.
They won 7 1 year.
2 years of the SWAC, but they was 9-2.
Yeah, because remember, for 2 years they could have gone to the Celebration Bowl. One time they needed 1 game. They had 3 games to go, and they needed 1 win, and they couldn't get the 1 win. Remember that?
Yeah.
because that white, remember the white boy, he lost. I think he lost every game he played in
Ryan Stanley.
Yeah, he lost every game in Orlando. Remember, he never beat Bethune-Cookman. Y'all remember that?
Yeah, man, that was weird.
Yeah, he never beat Bethune-Cookman. He never won it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. He never beat Bethune-Cookman.
He never beat him. Just remember, Bethune beat him like 8 or 9 years in a row.
Yeah, the last time Bethune beat Fam was in 2019. Remember 2020, they didn't have no season because it was COVID.
Yeah, so Willie has won the last 2 Florida Classics, right?
Right.
That's right. Before that, I think they lost nine Florida Classics. Going back to, remember the guy was named Jenkins? His son was at Alabama A&M?
Yeah. Okay,
remember he beat Fam up. Then that other guy came in, the one they just fired. What's his name?
As far as
he was the head coach after Jenkins. What that guy was named? Mr. Campbell? He was the coach. Sims. Sims beat Fam up too now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Terry Sims had a couple of Jenkins recruits, and he won with them.
Yeah.
But like I said, it was with Terry Sims. The writing was on the wall that the administration for Bethune-Cookman is not. I don't know what they thinking about as far as managing the money and slashing the athletic budget. So. That's the reason. To me, I feel like it's a slight. That's a slight on Terry Sims right there.
Listen, let me tell you something. We getting ready to go into a new year, and you ain't got your coach in place.
You ain't got your coach in place.
Listen, they gonna be behind for the next 2 years. And this Alex Woods, you talking about? He's one of the worst coaches in the history of FAMU. That Alex Woods and that boy that was the linebacker for the Pittsburgh Steelers. What's his name? He was awful.
Earl Holmes.
They should have given the job to the boy that was the quarterback for Billy Joe that's got the Albany State job now. What's his name? Quinn Gray. But they gave it to that Earl Holmes boy, and that was one of the worst hires in the history. And this right here, this Alex Wood, he was one of the worst hires too, ever. Listen, the Alex Wood era is one of the worst eras in Florida A&M history. When it comes, see, y'all got to remember now, in 80 years, Florida A&M has only had a losing season 12 times. Yeah. In 80 years.
That says a lot for your program right there.
Yeah. You talking about a storied history? Man, please. One of your people just put up there about wanted me to say something about, and I saw it, but y'all was talking. He was talking about FAMU, and he said that about Albany State. Let me tell you something. In 1960, Albany State's football team was undefeated and unscored upon. The only other team that had done that was the University of Tennessee under General Bob Nealon. They did it. I think they did it in the 30s. Okay. After that game, after the final game was over, Albany State sent a telegram to Coach Gaither challenging him because they wanted to come to the Orange Blossom Classic. Coach Gaither told them, "You too little. I can't make no money off of you." And what he did, he invited, at that time it's called Maryland State. Actually, it was Maryland, we call it Maryland Eastern Shore. They were a powerhouse back in that time. But what he did, he sent a bus, a trailway bus to Albany, and he brought the football team to the Orange Blossom Classic for free because that's the kind of class he was. I keep telling people, y'all don't know Coach Gaither. See, Coach Gaither wasn't just a football coach. He was a statesman, but he was also like a minister, because his dad was a minister, okay? And I keep telling people, y'all don't know Coach Gaither. You just think of him as a football coach, but he was far more than that. When he was at Knoxville College, the professor said he needed to go to law school. You have to understand that the reason he didn't go to law school is because his daddy died, and he had to get a job as a teacher. Yeah.
So yeah, I see Ed when he said BCU's AD resigned. That was the signs of things to come with the satisfaction of his board of directors. That's why Reggie Theus.
They got so many problems down there at BCU. It ain't even funny. They just got issue on top of issue. Now, listen, you know how we always talk against Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida. He did give Bethune-Cookman $17 million. Now we have to give him that credit. He did do that because they had some problems. No. Right here, Leonard said, Mr. Ford is the Orange Blossom Classic, the oldest class. No, the oldest classic is Tuskegee versus Alabama State. They call it the Turkey Day Classic. That goes back, I want to say maybe, now, let me get this right. Tuskegee and Alabama State started playing in the 1890s. They started the Turkey Day Classic, I think, in the 20s. Somebody go back and check that out. I'm going to tell you another school that had a classic. Nobody knows. See, back in the old days, Prairie View had one of the oldest classics, too. And it was played on New Year's Day. Now, nobody talks about that anymore. But Prairie View also had a very old classic.
The Turkey Day Classic started in 1924. Yeah.
And see, they started playing, let's see now, Alabama State and Tuskegee, I think they started playing it in the 1890s. I think they started playing in the 1890s.
Let's see.
Okay, this one right here, you said Miak Mike. That didn't happen until 1968. See, the big classic on that side of the country used to be Howard University would bring in, Lincoln? Howard University and Lincoln would play Thanksgiving Day in the stadium that was owned by the Washington Senators. The family that owned that stadium, they were white people. They were named the Griffith family. Now, eventually, as black people began to flock into D.C., the Griffith family moved the Washington Senators to, they are now called the Minnesota Twins, because the old man said there's too many Negroes here in D.C. That's why he moved the team out. But that was an old Thanksgiving classic. Was Howard would host Lincoln University. Lincoln University one time had the most exciting black player. His name was Jazz Bird. Now he eventually becomes the head coach at Florida A&M. Go look up the coaches at Florida A&M. They had a coach called Jazz Bird. He was at one time the most exciting player in black college football. Look him up. His name was Jazz Bird.
So Blue is in the chat, and he's saying that he talked to the new SID. The new SID called him this weekend and updated him on a search for an AD and a head coach. So maybe the head coach, or just the head coach. I don't know if it's the SID. The AD, but they said they can get a spark as far as for a head coach. So I'm thinking,
I know one guy's on somebody's staff they want. He's a graduate of Bethune, and I know they better be looking at Chinnersberry. If they got an assist, they better be looking at Chinnersberry. But there's another guy. He's on somebody's staff. Is it University of Miami? He's a Bethune-Cookman graduate.
Okay.
I know he wants that job.
Hey DJ,
what's up, bro?
What do you think how you feel? What about Texas Southern, man? What do you think your thoughts gonna be Texas Southern for what they do for the fall?
Well, they return. Correct me if I'm wrong. 50 plus 58.
Oh, so Blue, he was not. Well, you know what? They missing out because that guy's good, man. That guy's good. Chinnersberry was not one of the candidates.
Wow. I think Chinnis want to stay in. He want to stay in.
Listen, they doing everything they can for Chinnersberry at Benedict College. They got a lot of graduates here in Atlanta, and I asked them about it. They said the president and the AD is trying to give him anything he wants.
Okay. So what you saying, DJ? You said
yeah,
they how many?
Texas Southern is going to be intriguing because they got 50 plus. I think it was like 58 juniors returning for Texas Southern. But here's the thing. Will the juniors evolve their games to winning more? I know they had a solid recruiting class added to the players that were returning. Andrew Body's coming back. They recruited what's that brother's name that just got from Furman? He's
Oh,
from
yeah, I know
Houston.
you're
Oh,
talking
that
about.
quarterback, Jace
Yeah.
or something in it.
Yes, he's
Oh,
very
he can throw the
talented.
football.
It's going to
He
be
can throw the
interesting to
football.
see how that plays out
Yeah.
with him and Body.
You know what? Now, to be honest with you, Texas Southern, go and get them, get some players out of that portal, and then that the coaching tightens up. We can look for them to become a threat.
Yeah, the pieces are there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because listen, they went in the
I
Alcorn and beat them for homecoming. They beat up Grambling. They making some steps forward.
feel like they need to me, they doing it, they doing everything right.
Yeah.
I mean, they're doing everything right. But if they don't get over the hump, DJ, what do you think will happen with Coach McKinney?
Then he's fired.
Yeah, he gets one more year.
And I think Texas Southern since they're not like a FAMU or Southern prestigious blue blood HBCUs, he's been
In
given a lot
basketball,
of time.
they are. In basketball, they are. They got a
Johnny
long
Jones
history in
doing his
basketball.
thing. He's doing his thing out there. But as a football program, since they're not the blue bloods of football, of HBCUs, they've been giving Coach McKinney a lot of chances. And you have a star. You have 2-star quarterbacks. You have Body, and you have Chase from Furman.
He earned one more year now. If you go in the Alcorn and beat them on their homecoming, you deserve another year. Grambling comes out there, and I know y'all said the team was terrible, but they beat Grambling's behind. They beat my school in the ground. He deserved another year. He deserved another year.
I think he did, like I said, from what he did and how he kept the team all the way up to that, down the wire as far as, trying to win the West. He does deserve to have another year.
They just didn't close out that Alabama A&M game at the end of the season. If they had won that game, they probably would have been in the SWAC championship.
I do
agree. They didn't close the game out.
Even though they would have went to the SWAC championship game, we already knew that it was going to be more of a bloodbath. They went to the SWAC championship game because I feel like Jackson State, those 14 points that they actually put on them, they feel like they ain't deserve it. They're going to want to try to make an example out of them.
And I want to say this: I'm rooting for Coach McKinney and Texas Southern because I see what they could be.
Right.
And they did it the right way, building it with freshmen and growing it. I want him to be rewarded in that. That's all I want.
Right.
And he's from Houston, isn't he a Houston native?
Yeah. He's from Yates.
Yeah, I'm from Houston.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I would like to see him beat it together.
Yeah, he's from Yates.
Yeah.
And even though my family is most of them are more Pearview A&M alums. I have a couple of them that went to Texas Southern because they have a good law program out there.
Yeah, pharmacy.
Yep, that too.
Yeah, they spend like $12 million on athletics. Prairie View at one time was spending 19. There's no other HBCU that spent as much money as Prairie View. Prairie View is spending 19 million on athletics.
And someone said it best. All that Juice HG says, all that talent in Texas, they should.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
I see that I'm looking on Twitter. Former defensive lineman from Arkansas, Taylor Lewis, will visit Jackson State January the 4th.
Whoa. They might get him.
I think they are going to get him.
Yeah. Now, where is he from? What's his hometown? Did they say where he's from?
I could look. Chicago.
Oh, okay. And he was at Arkansas?
Yeah.
They've had a lot of people to exit. They had a boy, Malik, was it Hornsby?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they've had some people. Because, see, really, Arkansas and Oklahoma, they live off of Texas. They always have. You go back and look at the Bud they had a coach years ago called Bud Wilkerson.
Yeah.
Chuck Fairbanks, Barrett Switzer, Arkansas had a guy named Frank Brawls, Lou Hopes. All them people lived off Texas. All their players came from Texas.
Yeah. So yeah, I think he's going there to visit. So if he does come, he probably is going to be a signing for in February.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I wanted to add on to some. You said the brothers from Chicago, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully, Wilkerson is around at the visit because isn't Wilkerson from Chicago?
Yep.
Wait a minute, Sy'veon Wilkerson is from Chicago?
Yeah, he's from Chicago.
What high school?
I didn't even know what high school he went to.
Whoa, I didn't know that. I thought he was a Southern guy.
He said he got. I think he said he had family in the South.
Oh, okay.
I mean, of course, but he was, he went to West Virginia, didn't like it, then went over to Delaware State. He did what he did over there, then came to Jackson. So yeah, it's a lot of things. Like I said, man, it's a lot of things that's going on as far as with this recruiting and stuff. So it's something that we need to kind of keep up with. And I know a lot of Jackson State fans is keeping up with the recruiting and keeping up with the transfer.
I saw TC on somebody's show. He said they got the coaching staff. It's just a matter of everybody being hired. But he said he's always known he would be a head coach, and he knew once he got the opportunity, he knew who he wanted. Mm-hmm. So from what he said, we should know the coaching staff maybe a week or 2 weeks, no more than 2 weeks.
Yeah, it'll probably either be before New Year's or a little bit after New Year's.
Yeah, we should know the staff. Because my main thing is I just want to know offensive line, and I want to know who's the offense coordinator. Because that's where our problem. You listen, go back and read. If y'all get a chance, put in your address. Put in Roscoe Nance. Roscoe Nance wrote an article about the SWAC about 30 years ago. Roscoe was a big time. He used to write for the Clarion Ledger. Mm-hmm. He left the Clarion Ledger and he went to the USA Today. But he wrote an article one time about the SWAC. And he said, listen, in the SWAC we have outstanding players, but we don't put together outstanding teams. And he said the biggest problem was offensive innovation. Listen, that was 30 years ago, and we still got that problem. That was 30 years ago. You look it up. Put in Roscoe Nance.
So the thing about it is we need to make sure, as far as when it comes down to it, we got to be innovative on the offensive end.
Yeah, listen. It always starts with the offensive line coach, and it always starts with the offense coordinator. We got too many quarterbacks in the SWAC play like they in high school. They look one way, one progression, and then they take off. That's why I was so upset with Southern University. They let that boy do that the whole year. What's his name? They say he talking about leaving now. What's his name?
Bashawn McCray.
He was awful. He was awful. Should have been a wide receiver or running back.
I think he should have been a running back.
Man, forget a one read. It looked like Bashawn McCray did a half a second read.
That's what I'm saying.
And just go. I'm like, man, you didn't even look
and then what's the name? Puts up almost 400 yards of offense in the SWAC championship game. And I told everybody, either Dooley need to be called on the carpet or the quarterback coach. Somebody need to explain why this boy was sitting on the bench. Why was Bubba McDaniels on the bench for 10, 11 games? So he needs to explain that. Yeah. He needs to be called on the carpet.
And I got to say this, man. It was really a joy, man, watching Shadir and then watching Jeremy Musa play quarterback, because they weren't never one-read quarterbacks.
That's right.
Look at the progressions. If the first read not there, they pump fake, try to get the second read. That's not there to get to the third read.
Mr. Campbell, wait a minute. Mr. Campbell, you said the SWAC has never been a league to produce quarterback. Wait a minute now. Doug Williams, Shaq Harris, Steve McNair, remember John McKenzie, Sean,
I would add Travaris Jackson.
Travaris Jackson went second round to the Minnesota Vikings.
I add Darnell Kennedy. Hey, I'm gonna tell you, I remember those.
Now, Ms. Campbell, you know better than that. Now, why you say that?
Darnell Kennedy and Travaris Jackson was pretty much like arguably two of the best quarterbacks to come out of Alabama State.
Yeah, Tavares Jackson, we got him as a transfer. He actually went to Arkansas and then came back home.
But
He's
that dark,
deceased. I think
yeah,
Tavares is
yeah,
deceased,
yeah,
right?
he passed away.
That's right, because he was on the staff, I think, at Tennessee State.
And man, like that Darnell Kennedy he could throw on a rope too. But yeah, that is
Listen, what about Devontae Kincaid? Listen, at one time now, if you were the starting quarterback for Grambling, the league was looking at you because they knew Eddie Robinson was going to train you correctly because that's how he was. He went by the book. I would like for Ms. Campbell to explain that now. Why you say that, Ms. Campbell?
Hey, Mr. Cam, go on, jump on the stream if you can, man.
Yeah, write it in. Tell me why you said it. We don't produce. Listen, they had two at Mississippi Valley. One was the boy that was throwing to Jerry Rice. What was his name? Okay, but then they had another one before him that went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He was from Alabama. Oh man, this boy got drafted before Doug Williams. What was his name?
Oh man, I'm trying to remember the name. He played for at the time Succaneers.
Yeah, that's
really
right.
bad.
But he got drafted out of Mississippi Valley.
Man. Let me see.
He was a quarterback. He was older than Doug Williams now. Thank you, Ronald Hunt. That's him. Parnell Dickerson. He was from Mississippi Valley. He came out in the mid-70s. He could run it and throw it. He went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, Ms. Campbell, why you say the SWAC don't turn? You talking about now? What when you said that they don't turn that quarterback?
Let's see. Bubba is gone. He don't have a COVID year left, so he's out of there. Bashan got 2 years left.
Who?
Bubba McDaniel, he's gone. He's out of there.
Yeah.
And if he had a year or two left, I don't think he wanted to be there in the first.
No. You know what? I know them people because if it's Southern like it used to be, they don't want him back. Now, y'all know that Southern is in the running. They're going to bring a boy in from the University of South Carolina on the 6th. He's 6'4", 230. He was the second string quarterback behind Spencer Rattler at South Carolina Gamecocks. He'll be in Baton Rouge. I think it's the 6th. He's going to visit Baton Rouge on the 6th. I'm thinking they're going to get that guy. They're going to get him. He's kind of big like Jawan Pass, but I think he might be better than Jawan Pass. Had you heard about him, Doc?
As far as who? The guy coming from South Carolina?
He was the second string quarterback at the University of South Carolina. He originally went to Virginia Tech. He left Virginia Tech. He went to South Carolina. He was supposed to start, but the Beamer went and got Spencer Rattler. And that's why he was second string.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that the other day.
Yeah, he's going to be in Baton Rouge on the 6th, I think, of January.
Man.
Yeah.
My main thing is, if he gets there, are you going to develop him?
Listen, he's experienced. He's already been trained. I saw his highlight tape. He's already been trained. He'll fit right in with that pass happy stuff Dooley likes to do. He'll turn Southern out. You can pull him up. I can't remember his name, but you can pull him up. You can see his highlight tape and everything when he was at South Carolina. Okay. But he was scheduled to start until they brought Spencer Rattler there. Okay.
Texas Southern just got a commitment from Giovanni Harper. And let me see.
What high school you go to?
I'm about to look it. I'm about to try to look it up.
Yeah, Mark, you said, Mr. Ford, do you believe that? Yeah, I think he would have been. Yeah, yeah. Let me tell you something. 10 years down the road, he's gonna be mad at his daddy for pulling him out. Because I done told y'all whether y'all want to accept it or not. Southern Cal gonna smash them. He gonna take a beating. When they play Utah, he gonna take a beating. When they play Oregon, he gonna take a beating. When they play Washington, he gonna take a beating. Then you got to look at them schools like Oregon State. Now he might can beat Stanford. He might can beat Cal Berkeley. So listen, he gonna be 10 years down the road. He gonna be mad for Prime for taking him out of there. Because,
Wait a
baby,
minute.
let me tell you something. He was
Mr.
like a
Ford,
prince down there in Jackson.
I gotta ask you this, and I hope I'm not over exaggerating, but I don't even see Colorado winning more than 4 games unless they
That's what I
steal 2
say.
more.
That's what I say, too.
That schedule is tough.
Listen, let me tell you
Oh,
something.
they scheduled for 2023.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got to play TCU. They got to play. That's going to be a beating.
Nebraska.
Yeah.
Back.
I'll keep
Yeah, that
telling y'all.
Nebraska.
Y'all remember
that Nebraska
that
game
winning that he
is
did in Jackson is not going to transfer to Boulder, Colorado. Y'all just wait. It's not going to transfer.
Kip
Mm-mm.
Bennett said Colorado ain't winning 2 games. Oh, I hope that's bad news if they don't win 2 games.
I'm telling you now. I'm telling you now. You wait till he got to face Utah, UCLA, Washington, Oregon, TCU. He got to face them people. You'll see. Y'all gonna see what I'm talking about.
I'm looking at the schedule now. First game TCU over in here in Fort Worth. I might go to that game just because. Just because. Next
You
week,
right, Carrie. You right.
next week they play Nebraska. That's a rivalry game, regardless. That's that old Big 8 conference game right there.
I'm gonna have to. Hey, Doc.
I see what you said. Now, Mr. Campbell, who has the most records? Him or Willie Todd?
Yeah, DJ.
No. Mr. Ford would say so.
No, I was asking Mr. Campbell. He said he wouldn't talk. Who has the most records? Is it Steve McNair or Willie Todd?
Shoot, I think it's Steve McNair.
It's Steve. Okay. Because McNair was a 4-year starter, right?
Yeah.
So now what about Todd? Was he a 4-year starter?
I think Titan was more of either a 2 or 3 year starter.
Hey, listen, that's a pipe dream, Mark Robinson. That's a pipe dream. Don't believe that. Don't
Wait
believe
a minute,
that.
man. I'm seeing people saying, all opinions are respected, but 7 to 8 games, Colorado win. They'd be lucky to win 5.
Yeah, because that Colorado State. They playing Nebraska. Then they got Colorado State the third game. Okay. They got Arizona State the fourth. Arizona, Oregon State, Stanford, USC, Oregon, UCLA, Utah, and Washington State. Boy, that's a murderer's road schedule.
I'm trying to tell you.
They keep talking about the recruiting class, man. I'll tell you, man, that schedule, I don't know if people realize how difficult that schedule is unless you had the number 1 recruiting class in both transfer and high school. Did
you see all them players that Oregon is bringing in?
Yeah.
You know Oregon in the top 10, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right, Mr. Campbell. They play, man, listen. I done called out them people. Shadua gonna take a beating in them games.
So after they play TCU, which is a CFP game, CFP team right now.
Right.
They play Nebraska. That's about to be on the come up with Matt Rule at the helm. They got Colorado State, which is a rivalry game.
Right. They can win that.
They can win that. That might be that. Then you got Arizona State. It all depends on who Arizona State has.
Hey, and someone says I give someone 500. If I got 500, they will be in a bowl game. Well, you could go in a bowl game with 5 wins.
No, you can go in a bowl game with a losing record.
Yeah,
you gotta have more than 6. You gotta be 6 wins and over to be bowl eligible.
But I thought you can't.
No, you can be 5 and 7 now.
No, 6 games. I ain't seen a 5-win team yet in a bowl game.
It was just this past weekend.
Yeah. who was 5 and 7? Who was 5? Who had 5 wins?
Some MAC teams.
Yeah, that's the only reason why they do that, because they try to fill it out.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought you could petition if you were a losing team.
Yeah. If they don't have if they don't have enough teams from that respective conference to fill in, they go in and fill in with the next best team.
Yeah,
they will have at least 7 wins on their schedule next year.
7. Oh man,
who's gonna have 7 wins?
They're playing against
Colorado. Will have 7 or more wins on their schedule next year.
Okay, I'm waiting to see it.
Y'all are very unfamiliar with the names that they've been getting out of the portal and have landed in the recruiting trail.
Okay. Well, we'll see.
I can tell that because most people aren't familiar with the tempo that Kent State plays at and the type of players that fit that system.
Wait a minute,
Yeah, I've seen
Sean.
him.
I've seen that Kent State offense against
Yeah, I have
Georgia.
too.
Yeah, the offense will be good. Nobody's saying the offense not going to be good. That schedule is tough, man. Not even Alabama is going to play.
You keep thinking, bro. This is the Pac-12, not the SEC.
Man, I'm telling you.
I'm gonna say it again. This is where the Pac-12, the linemen aren't like SEC linemen.
Okay,
they're not.
Well,
they're not.
I'm waiting to see it.
Now,
wait. Let me ask you this.
USC is a good team. USC is a good team, but how does USC win their games? On offense.
Lincoln Riley.
Oregon
Caleb Williams.
is a
What's
good
his name?
team.
Caleb Williams.
Oregon is a good team, but how do they win their games?
They build
on offense. The Pac-12 is an offense-driven league. If you get some stops on defense, you can lead yourself to some upset wins. That's why you need the cornerbacks.
Oh, so you think that Colorado's going to upset teams like USC and Oregon?
No,
and
I'm telling you,
UCLA.
They can beat UCLA.
Oh no!
You think so?
Oh
yes.
No.
Okay, I'm gonna hold you to that now.
They can beat you. They can beat UCLA. They can beat UCLA. That's what I'm saying. Like, most people are very unfamiliar with the defensive scheme and the offensive scheme that these coordinators are coming into, and the offensive line and defensive line coaches that are invested in the actual program and the type of skilled players that they brought in. They brought in players that can help them win games like right now. They're not expecting to wait till 2024, bro. This team is going to go out and compete and win games early. I'm trying to forewarn y'all based on what I know. When the bowl season is over with, and the second semester begin for schools, and you start seeing new names jumping out of in the portal and start transferring and doing all of that stuff, you're going to see moves made, because that's how people are orchestrated. I'm telling y'all, by the time they get to the fall, this team I'm not saying nowhere else. This team in the Pac-12 will be
but I just
very
competitive. So you say UCLA is going to be defeated by Colorado, right?
Colorado can beat UCLA.
Okay, all right. I'm waiting to see that.
With no sweat off my back.
Okay.
What about Utah?
Oh, Utah's discipline, man.
Utah is okay. Utah is the best team in the Pac-12.
Without a doubt.
It's not USC, it's Utah.
Yeah.
I seen what Utah just did to USC in the championship game.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Utah is built like an SEC team.
Kyle Willingham, you're right. That's right. They remind me of the old Nebraska teams. They get their players from California and Texas, and they heavy in the JUCOs.
Yeah, they heavy in them.
There you go.
On the Utah.
Doc, you go to Mr. Campbell's last comment.
Right here.
Yeah.
Is that the one that said you realize 6 teams in the Pac-12 won 9 games?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. That's why I keep saying people are very unfamiliar with what Prime has in the palm of his hands.
Can I say this?
The dude got faster receivers. Faster. Then he went out and landed 6'1", 6'2" kids with that same speed, but with great hands and route running. And I'm talking about a coach that's trying to get to 90 plays on offense.
And how long does he stay? A year or two? Because if they have a good season, he gone. He gonna get a 5-5 job.
Now, Mr. Ford, you like me know that if he wins early and if he get his team in the Pac-12, that there's going to be big money coming for him, and he's out of there.
Right. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Here's what
If it's coming from the SEC, or if it's like a Miami, Florida, or FSU, if it's teams like that are coming and got real big old bags, yeah, you can see him out of there in 2 years, 3 years.
So what'd you say, DJ? What you about to say, DJ?
Here's what people are missing. It's not even about the coaching staff or their abilities or anything. I think Colorado will have enough talent. It's really the coaches that are returning at the Pac-12 in that schedule. That schedule is so tough, man. Everybody thinks they're gonna steal multiple wins. Where is it coming from?
He just told you their schedule. They can win 7 or 8 games in their schedule. The toughest, bro, they're competitive. The toughest games is like brutal. Is Utah's the most brutal game on their schedule.
And they played them the last game of the season.
That's the most
they played them the
brutal.
second to last game.
That's the most brutal. You can catch teams sleeping. USC is going to be well prepared offensively. Defensively, they're shaky and suspect.
Yeah, they're not strong in the front seven. That's true.
If you get Shador looking good in that game, and that game is competitive, that does something for his draft status. But more importantly, that builds confidence in that entire team, because they're going to have the running backs, they're going to have the receivers, they're going to have cornerbacks that can cover. Listen, do not let them land that 5-star kid out of that's supposed to go to Miami. Don't let that happen. Let me ask you,
so the first game, they're going to beat up TCU the first game, right?
No, TCU the first game, that's a tough game, because the Heisman, I don't know if the Heisman hopeful, because he ended up being a Heisman hopeful quarterback. I don't know if he returns. I don't know if he's
No, Max entering in the draft.
Yeah, he's going pro.
So he's going, and that's the thing. I don't know how many people from that team actually will declare after the bowl game. So a lot of this is the potential on what is the turnover at TCU and what is the turnover at USC once their bowl games is over with, and then they start getting draft grades, and those players consider such.
Well, listen, Prime need to bring you in as a motivational speaker.
No, he don't.
He need to bring you in because you hyping them.
No, I ain't
hyping them. Because I see all that.
I know the type of talent. I know the type of talent that's being recruited at that place.
Oh, okay. What's going on, Mark?
Hey, how the fellas? I'm just listening, man, enjoying it.
What's good?
All right.
I just want to say one thing though. Had Coach Prime, I don't know if no one paid attention to this, have he stayed at JSU for 5 years, and he's able to get the offensive lineman he needs and the defensive big men he needs, then he elevated outside of HBCU football. He's elevating. You talking about a coach that spent 2 years. He got to the celebration bowl in 2 years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So if he stayed 5 years and he get the top offensive lineman he needs, he can get the skill. But he knew he always said, I'm missing the up front guy. That's what's stopping him from winning the celebration bowl. But once he get that, it's not a competition no more. And it's not a driven market.
But on that,
so you saying that he gonna do well next year at Colorado?
I believe so. What I've been seeing him bringing in, what he's been bringing in, and all the pundits saying they're coming from. See, the thing is, he's bringing them in from all over the country. But what people don't realize, he had a football analytic team on the ground 2 months already before he even came to Colorado.
Okay. So
it's about getting.
So he gonna. So let me say that. So he gonna take over the Pac-12 like he did the SWAC, right?
No, I say he gets 6 or 7 wins. By his 3rd year, he'd be in position to take over the Pac-12 because he's not relying on one area to get talent.
Well, now there is a rumor that they want to go to the Big 12. That Colorado wants to leave the Pac-12 and go Big 12.
No, they're gonna be forced to go to the Big 12 because of the TV deal.
Bet some money, Blue. Bet some money, Blue.
The TV deal is forcing them out of the Pac-12.
Y'all got to remember that the USC is leaving the conference. They're not in the Pac-12. They're leaving, and I think UCLA is leaving. So Utah and Oregon are going to be pretty much, eyeing for quote unquote favorites because those two teams are out of the conference in 2024.
No, we're not looking at that, bro. They're not looking at that. What they're looking at is this. If the Pac-12 cannot get the California TV market, there's no need for Colorado to stay there. There's no money going to come into the conference unless they can get the California television market. That's why they want San Diego State to come into the Pac-12.
Yeah, but they put off they had a deal prior to Coach Prime even coming to Colorado, so they stopped the negotiations because he was hired. So now they have leverage again because they have Coach Prime in the conference. So they're going back to renegotiate for more because they got more. You know what I mean? They're gonna have more.
You can't get no more, bro. You can't get. Only one can get more. Only one can get more is UCLA and USC when they go to Big Ten.
Listen to yourself.
Hold on. Let me finish. Texas and Oklahoma can get more because by them coming in, they're gonna force up the market. So Texas and Oklahoma can change the SEC television contract. When it comes to the Big Ten, UCLA going to force up that market because the Big Ten never locked themselves out. That's why they didn't take a streaming deal. So now they hoping UCLA and USC come before 2025. 2025. If you remember, it was UCLA that brought USC that brought UCLA along to the Big Ten.
Yeah, because that's LA football.
No big money more than 29 to 28 million for television deals in the market once UCLA and USC leave. So it's smart for Colorado to go to the Big 12 because the Big 12 have one of the best market deals right now. Where they didn't lock themselves out, anyone come, their market deal keep driving up.
So let me get this straight now. So Dion gonna whoop up on Sonny Dykes the first game, right? He gonna whoop Sonny Dykes the first game.
I don't know. I won't say Mr. Fort until I see who all he get. So far, he bringing in a lot of bangers, and he's calling for defensive linemen and offensive linemen.
He can win 7 games in his first season.
I got him winning 6 or 7 games.
Nicholas Malachi got the schedule up. You see that, Doc?
7 games.
Hold on.
7 games. I don't need to see the schedule. 7 games. I already looked at all of that.
Okay,
7 games.
Okay, so listen.
Hold on. Before let's go like this. So I'm looking on my phone. I'm looking on the thing on my laptop. First game is TCU.
They gonna win or lose.
Win or lose. I want to hear.
They can lose that game.
I want to hear everybody on the panel. Win or lose.
They can lose that game.
I say lose bad.
Yeah,
they can lose that game.
Okay, so I see a loss right there. That's at TCU. That's in the backyard. Now they would have played this game at, let's say, at Jerry World. That would be a big draw right there. But they playing them over at Amon Carter Stadium.
Right.
Worth. It still seat about 45,000.
Yeah, Sonny Dykes.
So that's a sellout.
Yeah, Nebraska. It's gonna be a sellout.
They will beat Nebraska.
Nebraska, that's a loss.
Second game,
they will beat Nebraska.
Yeah, they beat Nebraska. They got no players up there.
Yeah. They can beat Nebraska because Nebraska is coming back. Nebraska is getting themselves back up from what happened with Scott Frost. Scott Frost tore up their whole team.
But let me say that. Scott Frost made a wrong decision by even going up there. That Nebraska program is trash. He shouldn't have left Central Florida. He was in a better situation in Florida.
Okay. Yeah. What do you say, DJ? And then Sean.
You know what? Now that I think about it, Nebraska, that's a coin flip. But edge Colorado in that one, but that's really a coin flip game. Because here's the thing. Matt Rule he's not a good NFL coach, but as a college coach,
That's right.
Really
Yeah, he was good at Temple. He was good at Temple, good at Baylor. But see, the problem with Nebraska, they can't come south and get them boys.
Yeah, they
See,
don't have
Nebraska
that.
used to live off of Florida, Texas, and California. When they went to the Big Ten, they got cut off.
They got cut off big time.
They got cut off. Tommy Frazier was from Florida. Lawrence Phillips was from California.
That's right.
7 wins.
All right. So let's go. Third game of the season. Colorado.
Just skip all the way to
that.
USC, bro.
They'll win that.
So the first so let's just say like this. So they go 2-1 in the in non-conference.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Arizona State. Question
They'll
is,
win. They'll win. That's trash. They in a mess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
we got
Arizona.
They lose that. That's Judge Fish and them. They billing something.
Yeah, they got some dogs there.
Yeah,
Watch
That's
what
a
happens.
toss-up. That's a toss-up.
I don't know. I think Judge and them trying to do something.
Watch
That's
what
a
happens.
toss-up.
okay. So now we got after that Oregon State.
They ain't gonna beat Oregon State.
Yeah, that's a loss.
Who on Oregon State right now? Can you name that's dominant for Oregon State?
Their defense.
They got a
No.
good team.
Don't tell
Oregon
me.
State got a
Name
good team.
someone that's dominant on that.
Listen,
Oregon State
we do not keep up with Pac-12 other than Southern Cal and UCLA. But I'm just telling you, Oregon State got a good program.
I watch all football.
So we already know you watching all football because football is your mistress, bro.
I watch everything. I got my TV on, I got my laptop on, my iPad on, and my computer screens on, watching all kind of football.
Hey, I had to get him on that one though. He said football is his mistress.
Yeah, that's my girlfriend.
Well, let me tell you this, because it's so mediocre on the East Coast and the West Coast, I do Midwest football and Southern football. Because that's what ESPN is mad about right now. They spend all that money on the ACC and the football is trash.
Mm-hmm.
I give you that.
No, I don't keep up with them. That's mediocre football.
Stanford is terrible. They just hired a new
They'll beat
coach.
Stanford. They'll beat Stanford.
Yeah,
Those
Stanford got a new
Blues boy,
coach.
Blues boy took over. The guy came in from Sacramento State. He's taking that program.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sacramento State is the head.
Blues say gonna do well at Stanford.
Yeah. The USC, let's say they lose USC, they lose
USC.
Oregon, they lose.
They
Let's just say they lose the next 3 games right there after Stanford. Let's say they lose the next 3 games.
I don't know about Washington State now. What I don't know.
They can beat Washington State.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. They probably could beat
They
them.
have a quarterback, but it's a toss-up. It will be a toss-up game.
Yeah, I'm about to say, don't they still have what you call Cameron Ward?
Yeah, Cameron Ward's the quarterback.
That's the boy from Incarnate Word.
Yeah. Putting up numbers.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And Washington not on the schedule either.
Nah, they kind of lucked up on that Washington.
Nah, you know how the SWAC do with SWAC West games.
Yeah, you watch out. Yeah.
Boy, they lucky as hell.
Because if they play Washington, then they would lose Oregon. They would lose Oregon or Oregon State if they played Washington.
Man.
So look at this: USC, Oregon, UCLA, and Utah.
7 games.
That's a 4-game losing streak. Possibly.
Yeah. All right.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Maybe.
90% chance.
And it is a toss up between that Washington State game right there.
But what if they just on fire right there? Because if you're riding a 4 or 5 game win streak and you running up against somebody, you done figure something out.
Mm-hmm.
I got them boys playing hard. For Deion.
Well, hopefully Deion will improve as far as his own game management, because Deion, he didn't make good adjustments. Now he was a novice as a head coach. Now let's just be for real. He was a novice as a head coach.
He hired a head coach to be his offensive coordinator.
I agree with you, Mr. Ford. I agree with you, because that decision he made in the Celebration Bowl that are going for the 1 point, but it cost us the game. So I agree with you. But
he got 2 head coaches as coordinators or position on his staff.
Yeah. Well, listen, I hope you know what? Because the person that really embarrassed him and showed that he was a novice was Buddy Pugh. If go back to that first Celebration Bowl game he was in, Buddy Pugh showed him, you just a young boy. You don't know nothing.
But Buddy Pugh, correct, but you gotta look at this, Mr. Ford. Buddy Pugh been coaching for 50 years. Buddy
That's
Pugh
what I'm saying. He let him know that too.
Right. He's coaching for 50 years, but what I'm saying, for Deion to get there 2 years in a row, right? With a 17-year-old quarterback and an 18-year-old quarterback, he was missing up front. It was only a matter of time for he dominate HBCU football. It was only a matter of time. He dominated.
Well, he dominated the SWAC.
He
Because every time he ran up against the MEAC, they put him in his place.
I saw your comment, Blue. I saw your comment, Blue.
Mr. Ford, I'm saying that it was only a matter of time. Give him 4 to 5 years when he get the lineman he need. It was only a matter of time when he dominate the whole HBCU football.
Well, he didn't do it the first 2 years because every time he met up with the MEAC, they put him back in his place.
Listen, I agree. Listen, they were supposed to be him. He only been coaching 2 years. They supposed to be him. And they showed it. They supposed to be him.
Nah, North Carolina.
When I'm saying,
they weren't supposed to lose those games, bro. They were overconfident against Buddy Pugh, and he humbled them.
Yep.
Period.
But
overconfident.
No. Buddy Pugh didn't do anything. His players played. Not the program.
The strategy.
His players played.
Hold up. The strategy and the management of the game from when they was down 10. I know they was down 10 in the first quarter.
Because it could have went either way in that first half.
Either way on that. Now let's say this year Celebration Bowl, he really was outcoached by Trey Oliver.
On the 3 trick plays.
And don't forget all the distractions. Listen,
I don't agree with
being outcoached. Into chaos and confusion after that Southern game. They went into straight chaos and confusion. He brought all of that confusion into that program.
Well, what I seen from a defensive perspective, I asked the question: what defensive coach watched the film on North Carolina Central?
I mean, you should know, but my whole thing is like this: on a defensive perspective, both of the teams played Campbell. All right,
yeah,
because Central got blown out by Campbell.
You have 2 different teams in the.
You have 2
got a different team that played Campbell.
Right.
When JSU played Campbell, it was a different team that played North Carolina Central in the championship game because the defensive side, the defensive line was plummeted. Once the announcement went out, all those dudes that wasn't getting his major time dipped out.
Well, let me ask you this. Don't y'all remember Deion was at the basketball games up in Colorado? Were they focusing and practicing then? Or was he up there waiting on the see from the white folks at that basketball game? Y'all tell me now.
They had a break.
He was recruiting.
Nah, they was on Christmas.
They had a break.
Yeah, they was on recruiting. They was meeting with recruits was coming to the school. They had a lot of recruits coming to the school. Even when he left the Celebration Bowl game, they had recruits at the school already waiting for him to come back.
Well, like I said, he introduced a lot of chaos and confusion. After that Southern game, they just went into straight confusion mode. There was a lot of distractions and everything.
And Mr.
But it was the Southern game that exposed JSU defense up the middle.
Yeah, they did.
It was the Southern game that exposed we can run on this team up the middle because all they worry about is the ends.
Hey, now y'all look at the chat. I love the chat. Y'all now everybody want them to lose. Just say y'all want them to lose.
I didn't want them to lose. But I don't think that the winning's gonna transfer. I don't believe that.
I didn't want to lose, bro. But
I don't believe the winning's gonna transfer.
Anybody that got some money, that this Colorado team can win 7 games, and it won't be a shock to Colorado, but it might shock y'all.
Yeah, it's gonna shock me if they win 7 games. You're right. I'll be shocked.
They're not gonna lose. They're not gonna win 3 games or 4 games. They're not gonna have a losing record. They will be very competitive.
I got them going by 6 or 7 games. I got them winning by 6 or 7.
They're gonna walk right on into a bowl game, and that's gonna be a victory. Listen, a 1-11 team goes to a bowl game, anywhere like that. It's glorious to them. It's bigger to Colorado than nobody. No one in Colorado is going to care what no one else thinks. They went to a bowl game in that first season.
Colorado people aren't expecting to win 4 games. They say if they win 4 games, they did better than last year. They said.
Hey,
And
dog,
that's not
man.
bowl eligible, is
What's
it?
up? What's up? What's up, DJ?
No,
Hey,
it's not bowl eligible.
Hold on.
Mr. Campbell, call your number. Call your
Hold
number,
on.
Mr. Campbell, and we
Hold
can
on,
bet.
hold
Hey,
on.
man, I think people just this in the chat. I don't think they even care about Colorado. It's just a fun discussion, just to talk football. But a lot of them, they're just excited about what's going on for HBCUs.
Oh yeah.
To even care about what Colorado and them folks are doing. No disrespect.
Yeah, they
We're not
do.
gonna root against a brother losing. That's just not how I roll, and most of us in this panel roll.
Right.
But we just see the reality. That schedule is tough as hell, man. I mean, not
Okay.
even SEC schools have ranked teams, 4 straight ranked teams at the end of the year. Man, that's tough as hell. I don't care what conference it is.
Well, let me just say this. Now this Mr. Ford, I think that TC gonna be a better coach at Jackson State than Prime was. I think that TC's gonna be, and I think TC will win 2 Celebration Bowl like Prime lost 2 Celebration Bowl. I think because he wanna be there.
I would hope so. I hope.
I
TC
think he's gonna
wins.
be better than Prime.
Coach Prime is banking on TC to win the Celebration Bowl.
I think he'll win 2 of them.
I hope he wins too.
Time will tell, right?
Yeah.
Before, all we can say, time will tell.
Time will tell.
Time will tell.
But I know one thing: he wanna be there. He wanna be in Jackson.
And then that's fine. That's fine. But the thing is with the Ford, this is what people don't understand. And no one's talking about this.
What's that?
Let's say you brought Alabama, Nick Saban to Jackson to play JSU, right?
Nah.
Let's say, no, hear me out. Let's say you bring him there. The numbers don't change. The numbers don't change. As a matter of fact, Alabama would lose money coming to JSU. The numbers don't change with the Ford until HBCU and the presidents change the structure in the system. All they worry about is X and O's. They're not worried about elevating the program where the program will become economic sufficient. And that's across all HBCUs. And what they doing when you do that, you locking your program and your structure out of the system.
Okay, so people asking what is the point? Like, what's the point? What's the end game to this whole thing? Because right now, my whole thing is that most of us, Jackson State, most of us is fine with the way everything goes. We knew I'm gonna tell you just like this. When we know that it's mismanagement at our schools, we gonna find out and we gonna call them to the carpet. That's always been us.
It might not be Doc. It don't have to be mismanagement, Doc. So it's not about if this here don't even have to be mismanagement, right? It's just the way it's structured and the system of itself is locking them out. No one had to do anything wrong. It's just the way it's structured and system it is.
Yeah,
that locked them out.
So we're
You know
gonna.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, but we're gonna. In fact, like I said, I'm still gonna get something going on as far as the economics of HBCUs. That's gonna be for another show. Right now, we talking about the things that Jackson State can do for this season, and what you see coming in the foreseeable future. The whole thing is, I'm gonna tell you just like this for me. What I see coming down the pipeline for Jackson State is a lot of kids returning home. That's what I say.
Well, that's going to happen. That's going to happen through the court system, Doc.
No,
that's going to happen. That's going to happen in the Supreme Court system.
Nope. We're not going to get on the court system. We're not going to get on none of that. We're getting on straight up recruiting. That's it. That's all. I'm not worried about the court system. I'm not worried about none of that stuff. My thing is, I'm worried about is straight up recruiting. I'm not worried about none of that stuff right there. Because all that what I'm saying is all that right now, what you're saying, court system, court cases and stuff right there is irrelevant for right now. That's down the line though. That's my whole thing. That's down the line. That the court cases, all this stuff is going to be irrelevant because what I'm saying is what my guy Aubrey Miller said at the press conference after the Celebration Bowl
Talk to
was
him.
our people, our kids that look just like us, black, all right, needs to come back to the house, come back home, and play for your people. It's not that hard to do.
I think we
it's
got
hard,
30% of our kids want to do that, Doc. I think we
It's
got
hard, Doc.
30%
It's real
that
hard,
want to
Doc.
do it.
It's real hard, Doc.
Well, it's not
not
hard. It's the
it's
fact
not-
that these people got NIL and they throwing money at these kids. Because see, college football is not amateur sport anymore. It hadn't been in a long time.
Right.
They paying, and so
Right, but-
we can't pay them kids. If that kid is going to be offered $1 million, we know we can't get it. Like people used to tell me about Jerry Mack coming back to the SWAC. Jerry Mack making a $500,000 and gonna get a raise. We can't get Jerry Mack in black college football. He's making too much money.
So,
He ain't gonna give up that money to come to us.
True, but my thing about it is like this, and this is what I'm seeing from the recruiting that Jackson State is doing right now. TC ain't worried about no NIL deal, even though it's in the back of his head right now. He's not worried about no NIL deal. He's not worried about none of that stuff. The only thing he worried about is, can he get the program back to the SWAC championship game and to the Celebration Bowl and try to win the Celebration Bowl? Now,
Is he getting 5 stars?
5 stars don't really make nothing because
I'm gonna tell you why they do, Doc. Let me tell you why they do, Doc. Let me tell you why they do, Doc. Let me tell you why they do, Doc. Because the last 3 games, Coleman and Travis Hunter won them games for JSU, Doc, and Shador Sanders. Them 3 won the last 3 games for JSU. Travis Hunter hit football plays, Doc, when he tapped his toe into the end zone. That's a hell of a play.
Yeah, it was a big time play.
Them 3 guys there won everything for JSU till they got to the Celebration Bowl, Doc. 2 freshmen and a sophomore. They showed up big time. So it does matter.
But my whole thing is, I'm gonna tell you just like this. And there's no I'm not shooting this down about Travis Hunter or not. But Travis didn't play damn near the whole season. He played the first game of the season, and then he came back. When did he come back, DJ?
Homecoming.
Okay. So that's 6 games out of the season that he played, and the rest he came in and played the rest. Granted that I'm not taking away none of his talent or nothing like that.
Right.
With about Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter is a part of the team. Travis Hunter is the only person that played offense and defense. So on offense, he contributed on offense, and defense, he was a staple point for the defense. If those dudes on the defensive line couldn't get no damn push, they couldn't get no rush up the field, you would not see Travis Hunter picking off 2 passes or breaking up passes or even contending with the ball for, as being a cornerback. You don't see none of that stuff if it ain't for that front 7. Cause that back 4.
I agree with you, Doc, but at the same time, when you get a pick 6, that's on your ability. I agree with you. When you get a pick 6 and take it back to the house, in that game, didn't he score offense and defense that game?
Which game? Alcorn?
The Alcorn game, he played. He scored offense and defense. My thing is, but my
only one did something in that game. He the only one did something late in that game.
But my thing about what I'm saying is, and DJ, you can back me up on this, he ain't the whole team.
It ain't about the whole team, Doc. Your big boys got to rise to the occasion when the game comes. It's not about being a whole team.
But still, the big boy got to rise to the whole occasion. But still, it's still a team sport.
Hey, dog, I understand what you're saying. It's a collective unit. Just like you're saying, Jackson State.
He was Travis Hunter was clutch. I agree with that. He was clutch. He was.
I agree with that. But even when you got a collective unit, is there one player or players got to rise to that occasion to take you over the hump?
Team is going to rise to the top.
Yeah, you got to rise to the top.
Listen, I think he's a generational talent. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm not saying, like I said, I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything about Travis Hunter. I'm not saying anything bad about Shador. I'm saying Shador. I don't saying Shador play for overall, high school and college for like 4.5 years. So I've seen what Shedeur can do. You know what I'm saying? And I see the same thing what he could do before he even got to Jackson State. Like I just seen it from firsthand because I live in an area where, you know what I'm saying, I live in the DFW area and I could go see a football game like, look, yeah, I'm gonna go watch him. Or I go watch him. That's the reason why I knew about Demetrius Davis from Alabama State, you know, when I seen him play at North Shore. And especially when they played against Duncanville. He played them, beat them twice in the state championship game. Hey, does his game translate to the college level? We don't know. It can.
Who's that? You talking about D. Davis?
Yeah, it can translate.
D. Davis' biggest problem is he don't have an offense coordinator. He don't have a quarterback coach. He's definitely a college quarterback. Listen, they played Jackson State the best as long as he was in the game. That game was won when Aubrey Miller put him out the game. He's definitely a college quarterback. He just needs coaching, and he doesn't have it.
Hey, Mr. Ford. No, I used to hear John Chaney say in camp. He said, no, I used to hear John Chaney say in basketball camp. John Chaney used to quote and said, everybody want the ball to the last 5 minutes of the game. Then we're going to see who want the ball the last 5 minutes of the game when the game on the line.
Right.
Then you'll see who your star is because everybody don't want that ball when the game is on the line.
Right.
Travis Hunter wanted that ball.
So he's like I say, he's a generational talent.
And Doc, you're right, it is collective. But what I'm saying, the last 3 games, that SWAC championship and the 2 games before that, he was clutch. And he made the key plays they needed to get over the hump.
Hey, and Mr. Campbell, don't forget he won the Division II championship at Cheney State. He was the boys coach, and Sy'veon Stringer was the girls coach.
That's right. That's
Billy Jones was the football coach.
And half of my neighborhood was on that team. Dana Clarkin was on that team.
Yeah, they just honored them. They just honored Sy'veon Stringer's team that played Louisiana Tech in that first NCAA game, championship.
The first Division II team that they pushed and made go Division I that went to a national title lead by Yolanda Laney.
Yeah, they just honored them.
Debbie Walker and them.
Yeah.
I watched them grow up when I was a kid.
Yeah,
she was the first girl I've only seen with a real boy's handle was Yolanda.
I think Sy'veon retired Rutgers. Didn't she let it go?
Yes. Her daughter,
Sy'veon Stringer, didn't she let it go?
Yeah, her daughter needed her.
Yeah. Because I think Sy'veon is a graduate of Slippery Rock or somewhere.
Yes, up in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, she went from Cheney to Iowa, from Iowa to Rutgers.
That's right.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of stuff we can talk about. Yep, we can talk about all this stuff. We can talk about Pac-12. We can talk about SWAC. We can talk about MEAC, CIAA, SIAC. But like I said, it's the off season right now. We don't know how, like Sean said, we don't know how these teams are going to be until after, right before the summertime come, and when all the rest of the kids come in, whoever's going to be walk-ons, they walk on to the team. But
your scrimmages will tell you, Doc. Your scrimmages will tell you. Your scrimmages to get a coach about what they have. The day you sign your scholarship during your scrimmage game, that's when you know what you get.
I just want us to get all these mediocre coaches out the SWAC. Can we do that? Can we get these less than high school coaches out the SWAC? Can we get big time coaches, get people who can prepare you to go in the NFL, the XFL, and the CFL? Can we get that? That's what I'm asking.
Yes, you can if you change the economic structure. Sure you can.
No economic
structure. It don't have to be a lot of money neither. It don't have to be a lot of money. It's just the structure is bad.
Well, all I say is, man, like on the real, is like on the real. I like what I see. I like what the how these kids are moving around. Shout out to Esaias Guthrie and Tristen Sion for coming on to the show to do the interview with me, man. Like I said, I couldn't just have one without the other. So
Doc, let me ask you a question. Who has the best coaching staff in the SWAC right now? The number one coaching staff.
Number one coaching staff?
Yeah.
Shoot, the way it looked like it to me is FAMU.
That's what I said.
Willie Simmons. It's FAMU
Doc, let me ask you this. Is
they,
Willie Simmons going to take over the SWAC?
They have to beat Jackson State first before they take over the SWAC. They ain't beat Jackson State in 4 years, so they ain't taking over the SWAC just yet.
Okay, all right.
They ain't taking over the SWAC. What's up?
I say FAMU. Then I say Alcorn.
Alcorn's going to be the number 2 team. So it's going to be FAMU and Alcorn for the SWAC championship.
I don't know about Alcorn because that West is still going to be wide open.
But is he the best coach in the West?
I think Alcorn is the best coach.
The best coach in the West
is Fred McNair. Is he the best coach in the West?
Right now, it is.
I think so. He had demonstrated that.
Blue Blood just said it. FAMU versus Alcorn State for the SWAC championship.
That's Blue right there. That's his prediction.
Blue said FAMU versus Alcorn State. That's Willie against Fred McNair. They once coached together under Jay Opson.
Mm-hmm. But like I said, the thing about FAMU is you got to beat Jackson State. If you don't beat them that's our second game, which would be their first game. So if you don't beat them, then like I said, you're gonna be playing behind the 8 ball all year again.
Wait a minute, Dr. Cavill said Willie Simmons, Cornell Maynard, Fred McNair. Okay, all right, I see you, Dr. Cavill.
Hey, Doc. Everybody's gonna be gunning for JSU. So
they were doing that. They were doing that this past year. They just couldn't.
But they couldn't do it. But
they couldn't do it.
The reason why they couldn't do it this year, Doc. This team went 12 and what? 11 and 0 or 12 and 0?
We went 12 and 0. We went
12 and 0.
We went 12 and 0 to. We went 12 and 0. No, we went 8 and 0 in SWAC. Won the SWAC championship. We ended the season. End of the season for the celebration 12 and 0, and then we lost the championship game, which we turned 12 and 1. So then, like you said, there's a whole bunch of turnover whenever the season ends, because especially now with the portal, the transfer portal in the play, you see a lot of kids becoming those instant free agents. But if they don't have a home, if they don't have no type of film, then they're gonna be stuck in there.
Well, Doc, let me ask you this: if I want you to tell the conference office 3 things you want them to do for next year, tell us 3 things you want the SWAC conference office to do.
SWAC conference office to do is for me.
Yeah. What do you want them to do?
Be honest with you. Give us a better deal for our televised games.
Okay.
You need to change out that. You need to change the bylaws from that of giving 40% from classic games to the SWAC.
Right.
You need to change that from 40 to like 20%. You don't need that much money in the conference office. The schools need the money more than what you need. And then my last thing is you should have what's the word I'm looking for? You should have took advantage of the situation with Coach Prime being in the SWAC.
Okay, so you said
you should have marketed the SWAC better.
Okay,
when Coach Prime was here.
Doc, my last question: who has the best band in the SWAC right now?
I'm a band.
Who has the best band? There's one. There's one.
Just one. I mean, I can't be biased because I love the Boom Baby, but the best band right now in the SWAC is I'm looking at. I really don't want to say them dudes down the street. In my eyes, a very, 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 very close second would be Southern.
No, but who's number 1?
Oh, Us. Boom. The Boom, baby.
Boom. Okay, the Boom is the
Boom.
best band in the sweat. Okay, all right.
The Boom is the best band in the sweat. Now,
Okay.
I'm going to give it to you on this. Like I said, I'm a big hit, y'all. Close third is Texas Southern. And the reason why I say Texas Southern is because the stuff that they had done this whole year, for them to come up to Dallas and to be at WrestleMania, to bring out one of the best women's wrestlers that's hot right now in Bianca Belair.
Right.
Like, you can't get no better than that.
Weren't they the first people when Astros won the World Series 2 years ago? Weren't they in that parade?
Yep, they was in a parade. In it every year since when they went to the Astros won this past year. I think they're gonna have a parade too, and they're gonna be right there with them.
Hey Doc, I got a question for you and Mr. Ford.
Mm-hmm.
What leverage do the SWAC have to change the television contract?
You mean the one with the ESPN or the one with HBCU Go? Or all of them?
All of them, Mr. Ford.
I'm thinking the only thing we can do with the ESPN is wait on the contract to run out, right?
That's it. Until we negotiate.
What I'm saying is, what leverage do they have? I understand what you're saying. What leverage can they have to say we need a better contract and more money? What leverage can they use?
I mean, but the leverage is basically wait till the contract run out.
Yeah, but
that's all.
Because your contract run out, Doc, it doesn't guarantee you more money. Because your contract run out don't mean they can take your contract lower or upper, or they can say, well, we're going to keep it where it is. So my question is, what leverage do you have or you can use to say, we deserve more money, and this is why we deserve more money?
Well, I think
the only thing I see is the viewership, right?
Yep, that's it. The viewership. You want to reach more. You want to reach more viewerships. You want to reach more homes or even that, not just reach more homes. You want to reach people that have mobile devices. You had
2.4 million viewers for the Celebration Bowl. What was it for the Boombox Classic? What was the viewership for that?
The viewership for that was almost 3 million.
Okay, what about the SWAC Championship?
SWAC Championship was a little bit less than that because a lot of people was upset. A lot of people was upset that Dion was leaving.
Now, them games there, right, Doc? Now, them numbers there, them numbers got to go at least $1 million per game. Not just the Celebration Bowl, but per game. So that means that you have to average more than 5,000 or 6,000 people at your stadium. And Jackson had the most. They had the largest attendance out of all HBCUs.
Hey, listen, look at what Dr. Kavir said. Dr. Kavir said the leverage for the SWAC against the ESPN is to leave for another network if ESPN does not renew for more. I agree. And Dr. Kavir, I think the people we need to leave for is HBCU Go. Is that Byron Allen man?
So my question is, if that's the case, what now? Look at the 4 major networks, right? The 4 major networks locked in with SEC and the Big 10 and the Big 12. So now, Byron Allen have the 10-year, $12 million deal, $120 million deal with CBS through streaming.
Right.
So my question is, what are the top 4 television stations or whoever going to give us that deal? When ABC and ESPN is the same company, Disney. You understand what I'm saying, Mr. Ford? So we have to figure out that, okay, they're looking at what gets you on TV is your capacity. Your sold out capacity gets you on TV. They'll let them know you have a viewer looking at it this more than this celebration game or a game. You have them look at it over the season. So that's what they're looking at. How many tickets did you sell? What is your fan base numbers? They're the kind of things you need when you're trying to build leverage on getting TV contracts or any contract.
So listen, Blue just said TV contracts have nothing to do with attendance. Just a reminder for the chat.
It
Man,
don't have nothing to do with the
TV
attendance.
contract have everything to do with attendance.
No, it
Nobody
don't.
gonna watch an empty stadium.
No,
Nobody
but
gonna
it really don't. But what I'm saying is the attendance really don't have nothing to do with the television. And then what Dr. Cavill is saying is that we got the HBCU Go deal is for our secondary rights. It ain't our primary rights. Our primary rights is with ESPN. So that's the one. That's the deal that we need to make sure that we can get more money from right there. That's what we're saying.
Once again, Doc, what's your leverage? Now, it does have something to do with your attendance because that go with your sponsorship deal.
No, it don't. No, it don't. Trust me. Trust me. I talk to Dr. Cavill on a weekly basis on HBCU Nightly on Twitter. Doesn't have anything to do with your attendance about people watching your product. The attendance don't have nothing to do with that. You could be. I'm gonna tell you like this. I went to SFA for a little bit. SFA draws probably maybe 6,000 to 7,000. The stadium holds 14,000. They don't care about how many people is coming to the game. They care about how many people is watching the game in this region. In the East
that's totally Doc. That's totally different. You talking about Stephen F. Austin?
But no, it's all the same.
No, that's what I'm asking. Are you talking about Stephen F. Austin?
Yes, I went to SFA.
Okay, that's okay. We played against them. That's local. That's
but
local.
But what I'm saying
local
is,
TV, local television is not a national TV deal.
But what I'm saying is not on SFA TV. SFA football ain't even on local TV. That's one thing I can tell you that right now. It's on ESPN Plus. They have almost the same damn near deal as for the Southland for that ASUN WAC Challenge conference with like the SWAC, but we got more money out of it. The thing what I'm saying is the stadium could be damn near half empty. They don't care about how many people is in the stadium. They care about how many people is viewing from a laptop, a TV, a mobile device. That's all they care about. That is all they care about. That's all what a network is caring about. They don't care about that. The people that care about the attendance is the school. The school cares about the attendance when it comes, because that's actual people coming to watch the game. That's actual people coming to watch your product. Okay, they don't care about. Okay, well, we're not gonna show this game if it's not this many people at the stadium. No, it's not like the NFL. The NFL have blackout deals because if you do not sell out a stadium at an NFL stadium for an NFL game, they black out your ass in a
for 60 miles. That's right, for 60 miles.
For 60 miles.
No, they don't just block out you because you might not have a full stadium. They may block out you because it might be like in Pennsylvania. Baltimore have a lot of say in Pennsylvania, so in between who Baltimore playing, that'll block the Eagles in Pittsburgh out in Harrisburg. So it depends on regional. Depends on who's playing.
But also what I'm saying is the NFL it's always been like this. The NFL thing is you sell out the game. It don't matter if people don't come to the game, but if you sell the game out, we're not going to block you. We're not going to give you a blackout for 60 miles. If you do not sell the game out, ain't no way in the world they're going to show a game where this team ain't selling out. They losing money. They're losing money.
They do that with Baltimore and the Eagles, Doc. If you go back, Mr. Ford, you might remember Mr. Ford.
But Baltimore and Philadelphia is two different markets.
No, it's not two different markets, Doc. No, it's not.
What are they about? 90 miles apart? How far is Baltimore from Philly?
96 miles. Baltimore, Doc. Mr. Ford. Baltimore have Southeast Pennsylvania market with Harrisburg, Reading, and all them. That's their market. They was fighting over that market before. Do you, Mr. Ford? You remember when Washington Redskins owner was fighting over the Baltimore, North Carolina market?
Now, was that Jack King Cook or the guy they got now?
Cook. When Cook didn't want, when Baltimore left, he didn't want no more teams between deep between from Philly to Atlanta. He wanted to be the only team in the area.
Right.
And when they signed Baltimore, came back. Baltimore became part of the Southeast region television network.
So I'm gonna bring it back down to college football, to FCS college football. All right. So like the thing about it is with FCS is because is regional based. It's basically you stream from the school's premise. You're taking the feed from the school's stream and you putting it on, adding your overlay as far as ESPN and stuff like that go. You got a couple of announcers that's from ESPN that may come to the game or they may do it from their house. Okay, that's what I'm saying. We do not care about it. It doesn't matter. We already know as far as when it comes to FCS, you talking about Jackson State with the attendance, we already know. We lead the attendance. We averaged 42,000 people in attendance this past season. We do not care about what the attendance is. We just know our shit's gonna be on ESPN Plus.
And that was terrible. That broadcast on ESPN Plus was terrible.
Now my question is now, who all get ESPN Plus? Who
all gets ESPN Plus? All you got to do is just pay $7. It's $7 a month.
But the production for ESPN Plus was terrible.
Mr. Ford, the production for ESPN Plus is because if it's going through the school stream and if the school stream is horrible, then it's going to come out horrible on ESPN. You know what I'm saying? On ESPN's end. That's what I'm saying. It's gonna come out horrible on ESPN's end. But like if let's just say like this, if you got Mississippi Valley who does all their games on YouTube,
right,
and they got the most countryest announcers on there, but they make money off of it because it's on YouTube. They don't have to worry about being on ESPN. They can have a damn a third party rights deal with YouTube and just broadcast their games if they want to be shown on, you know what I'm saying, if they want to be shown around the nation and stuff like that, because you only seen one game on ESPN, 2 games on a Valley on ESPN. Hold on, let me see something. Blue put this in there.
And Prime put them on ESPN.
No, he didn't.
What did he do, Mr. Ford?
No, he didn't.
Mr. Ford, what did Prime do, Mr. Ford?
I think
them on ESPN
too. No. I'm gonna tell you.
Jackson State has been the most publicized black school. I mean, that's a fact.
Doc, who got them on ESPN too, Doc?
Hold on. I got my girl. She loves D. She gonna let's set the record straight. Hey, Tamona.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. So let's get the TV deal straight. All right, because this is your expertise. I know you talked about this last time on a certain channel.
So, at this point, just with the Coach Prime era, I think it's safe to say that for the most part, ESPN is not going to give us a fair shake with our.
Thank you.
It's never going to be that way. So, if you're going to take Coach Prime's method, we know that there's certain games. I know, especially for Jackson State, that they're going to sell out, and the atmosphere is going to be crazy. So the key to it is, number one, invest in your cameras and your Wi-Fi. You have to invest. We have a mass communications department. We have a whole Jackson State sports network.
Yep.
You have to invest. Number two, these games are way too expensive. $20 to see one game.
25. I think it was 25 last year, wasn't it?
Well, Jackson State needs to overhaul that system, and they need to take it in an ESPN Plus type of subscriber deal where it can be, $7 a month $6 a month. Give people 10% off if they pay it all in full, because a lot of people aren't going to watch all of the games, but you're just going to already have that residual income coming in every month. And then the sponsorships. FedEx is going to feel Jackson State not being there. They're going to feel it. So who's ever in the marketing department, they need to be calling UPS saying, hey, we have the Boombox Classic, and get deals from these large corporations. And then when you have a large corporation that's endorsing it and you do all the other activities around it, that means ESPN might bump up your game to a different show. But I know for the course of the season, they have games all over the place. ESPN Plus. Then you got to have ESPN2. So you got to go subscribe to this, to Sling, to get to ESPN2. Then they moved it to ESPN3. Well, Sling doesn't have that. So this season, they just had it all over the place. So it'd be better for HBCUs to invest in our own systems, work it out with local media to show it on the channel. And that's it.
Can I ask you a question? This is Miss Ramona. What's your first name?
Timona.
I'm sorry. Miss Timona, let me ask you this. Now, for the last 3 SWAC seasons, the majority of the games have been Jackson State and their opponent. Now, with Coach Prime going to Colorado, do you feel that they will now make Florida A&M the number 1 school as far as showing them? Because I think last year Jackson State had 9 broadcasts by the ESPN. I think, was it 9?
No, Jackson State is still going to be number 1.
They still going to be number 1. Okay.
MEAC SWAC Challenge. I don't know who's over that. I hope they have a good deal, but that's going to be one of the biggest games. And if they played their cards right, the MEAC should be touting Jacoby Durant, and Jackson State should be courting James Houston. If Aubrey Miller has been drafted, it's you have to play it up to this is HBCU May, draft HBCUs. That's what the MEAC SWAC Challenge should focus on. And utilizing, because Jacoby Durant, his performance was ridiculous, like crazy. You would play that up and get sponsors to give $500,000 and split it between the schools. So that's extra money that you make. And then we have FAMU versus Jackson State. Again, I would tend to say that the eyes are going to be on Jackson State just because Prime did leave.
Right.
So everything that Prime does, they're going to be criticizing. If Prime is losing, they're going to be looking at Jackson State. If Jackson State's winning and Prime is losing, Prime should have stayed where he was at. This ain't the SWAC. Yeah. If Prime is winning and Jackson State is winning, well, look, he looks like he can build up coaches, even though most of us know that Coach Taylor didn't necessarily get coaching experience. I mean, he got ready, but basically Coach Prime can't take all the credit for Coach Taylor, but they're still going to be like, well, dang, maybe his coaching tree is legit. So all of these things are going to come into play next season, and Jackson State needs to take advantage of it while we have the time. We're still going to be in the limelight. There's still going to be Coach Prime. I guarantee you he's going to be reaching back to talk about Jackson State. Just because.
Let me ask you this question. In your opinion, does SWAC football go up greater or does it go down?
From what I've seen, it goes up greater.
Okay.
Whoever is the quarterback for Jackson State, whoever is QB1,
right?
I mean, he has the chance to, be whoever he is. He wants to be greater than Shedeur. He wants to prove it.
Mm-hmm. So, Mr. Mona, I have a question for you. Since Prime there, this was the first time that the city of Jackson received $35 million off tax revenue dollars, correct?
No, that's not correct. The $30 million that they're speaking of, that's gas, hotels, restaurants.
Right. That's what I'm talking about. Correct.
But you can just say that $30 million is the same $18 million It's just inflation. It's still the same amount of money. It's just inflation.
Okay, so they adjusted for inflation. Now, I'm glad you said that. Now, I'm glad you put it that way. Even though Jackson State averaged 42,000 fans, correct?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have a driven market compared to Jackson State carry other schools.
Jackson State does not carry every school. The biggest games in the SWAC were not the largest attendance. Now, Jackson State has the most consistent attendance, but the biggest attendance was Alabama State versus Alabama A&M, if I'm correct.
It was 67,000.
No, this is what I was saying. When Jackson State played Bethune-Cookman, Jackson State brought more fans than Bethune-Cookman.
Bethune has been going through a losing season, number one.
Okay, well, I'm saying, well, no, it doesn't matter. I'm just saying. Just follow along with me. When Jackson State played Alabama State, they helped sell out Alabama State Field. Texas Southern, Jackson State helped sell out Texas Southern Field. So the crowd was following Jackson State to their opponent's field. What I'm saying, even though with the numbers coming up, the numbers, that's not a driven market. The numbers not showing a greater profit with the numbers being high as they are.
And that's
you understand what I'm saying?
No, because this is what I feel like. Some games, they're not. Bethune versus UAPB, that might not be a big game. The schools that have the biggest games, or whatever your biggest game is, which is for all schools, mostly it's homecoming. So that's one school. And the other one where you have the rivalries, those are the biggest ones. So those are the games that you go to either ESPN or you come together amongst each other and say, look, we need to market this to UPS or Walmart, or we need to market up to these people. These corporations, the reason why Prime did so well at Jackson State is because these corporations said, dang, look at what he's doing. Let's get some goodwill. It's just called goodwill marketing, basically. Like, let's go help them out. Like Walmart donating the field to Jackson State, that was a drop in the bucket. That was like 10 cents to them, but it looks good for not only Coach Prime, but it looks good for Walmart. Oh, look at us. We're helping HBCUs. So HBCUs need to be holding these corporations accountable and saying, look, we have this big game. Would you like to sponsor it? And do it yourself, not bring in a third-party promoter who's going to take their cut.
My
question to you was based off when you look at the comparative driven markets of, say, FCS football, FBS small market that's smaller than Group 5, right? Their markets, when they have a football game after seven games home, they bring in almost anywhere from $800 million to $6 billion.
Well, we can't necessarily compare ourselves to that. Like, then that's the thing. Like, Coach Prime was talking about going to the FBS. Who in their right mind would make such a big jump for a temporary coach?
I'm not talking about the FBS. I'm not talking about the FBS.
Even changing conferences. If anything that Black people should have learned by now, it's that segregation, as far as building power, was our most powerful asset. Your power once you're segregated.
Thank you.
But what I'm saying, ma'am, I'm not even talking about leaving conference, ma'am. I'm talking about your attendance numbers. If you look at Jackson State report, the city of Jackson put a report out, right? The city treasurer said that they sold out not only the city of Jackson, but the businesses in the surrounding areas. That's what I'm looking at, the impact. Not going to no other conference, staying where they are, but the impact. I'm looking at the impact.
I mean, you keep on talking about this impact and acting like it was Prime. The impact has always been there. Yeah. We just weren't shouting out to the rooftops about how much we made. Jackson State's homecoming always sold out. Right. Hotels always sold out.
We're not talking about the hotel. We're not talking about homecoming.
Well, can I?
But you can't. But hold on. But hold on. You can't say you can't talk about homecoming when that's part of who we are.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
Doc, what I'm saying, Doc.
But what I'm saying is you cannot tell us we can't take homecoming. We can't take homecoming out because that's part of.
I didn't say that, Doc. I didn't say that, Doc. What I'm saying is this: homecoming didn't bring in $35 million, Doc. You understand what I'm saying? Homecoming didn't bring in $35 million. The season brought in $35 million, Doc. The whole season did.
No, homecoming, the SWAC championship, Southern versus Jackson State, the other game that we had, that's what bought in the $35 million. It was not Prime. If you look at the numbers of the attendance, he might have bought maybe 3,000 to 5,000 more fans, and that's being kind of generous. But that money has always been in Jackson. Like, it's always been here. The reason why it might be 30 million in 2022 and 18 million in 2016 is due to inflation. It's the same amount of money.
No, it can't be. Not when the city treasurer say this is the first time that we raised that kind of money. Now, I understand you adjust. I understand you adjust to inflation, but not when you go from 18 million to 35 million. That's totally different.
That money didn't go to the school, though. It just
I didn't say it did, man. I didn't say it did. I said to the surrounding area of the city of Jackson, tax revenue dollars, the impact dollars.
And I just
that's what I said. The impact dollars.
Inflation. It was because of inflation. I said it was because of inflation. Period.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me ask this question. If you, ma'am, if you had 30 minutes to sit down with President Hudson, what would you tell him as far as athletics at Jackson State?
So with athletics, when you're saying that, are you talking about finances? Are you talking about marketing?
I'm just saying, what would you say if you got 30 minutes to sit down with him and he asked you for some advice on the athletic department? What would you say to him?
I would say that Jackson State athletics is at the pinnacle right now.
Okay.
We have the soccer, they are SWAC champions. We have the women's basketball team, they are SWAC champions. Men's cross country, they are SWAC champions. You don't want to overindulge football.
Okay.
Everybody's so football.
Right.
Let's bring everybody into the top, because Jackson State right now, the football it's great, but we also have all these other sports too that you can't forget about. And yes, we know that football brings in the revenue, but if you're marketing the basketball team, the soccer team, and everything else at the same rate as football, it would be amazing for athletics and for Jackson State overall.
So let me ask you this. How much of a raise does Tamika Reed need?
I don't know how much she's getting paid right now to know how much, I don't know how much she's getting paid right now. I would say that she does deserve a raise, especially if she wins SWAC championship again, but she doesn't need just a raise. That's not what she just needs. She needs other things too that she's not getting. So the same amount of marketing that's put into all these videos and stuff that's at Jackson State for the football team, that same thing needs to be put in for the girls team. Okay.
So you're saying Title IX, make everything equal?
I mean, not equal. No, definitely not equal. But I'm saying that's something that if you have a work study student, that's not costing that much money. If you have work study students doing your videography, it's not going to cost that much. And there was probably 4 or 5 students that were on the football field taking pictures. The same thing needs to be done for that, because if all things is the same as it's been, we're going back to the the March Madness for the women.
Mm-hmm. Right.
and they should be playing that up. And I don't know. I feel like we dropped the ball and should have been getting sponsorships for our team. Just for that run.
This is my last question. Now, the last time I checked, Jackson State is spending a little under $10 million on athletics at Jackson State. I say that everybody should spend the athletic budget should be $15 million. What do you say?
You have to figure out where you're going to get the $5 million from.
Okay.
Where are you going to get the $5 million from? I mean, Coach Prime was right in the sense that we don't have money, but unless the only way that Black people are going to make up for the deficit, because we know, God knows that if it's supposed to come from the state, it's not going to come from where. So the only place you're going to get that amount of money is through corporate sponsors.
Yep.
Paying for things. So if you're saying we need the gymnasium needs to be redone, a sponsor needs to be coming in there, and we name it after UPS Arena, and they need to pay for it. So that's the only way that you're going to have that investment, where we don't have to have $5 million actual dollars, but they're going to be spending $5 million towards improving the athletics.
Now, the vet, does the vet belong to Jackson State, or does it belong to the city of Jackson?
It belongs to Jackson State.
Okay, so why aren't we going after naming rights?
See, the problem with that is, which it's kind of like Mississippi just lets Jackson State fans and Jackson State administration and the mayor and whoever, they let us do this infighting because half of them want to build a new stadium, the other half want to renovate. If we are just being realistic, we're not going to, once again, the state of Mississippi is not going to build us a new stadium. They keep on saying, oh, we need this spot for the hospital, and they haven't had a move yet. And we've been talking about a new stadium, and I've been out of school since 2010. So
yeah, we've been talking about new stadium since I was out of school. That was in 2001.
So I would say renovate the stadium.
I was about to ask you, what do you say, new stadium or renovate?
Definitely and you just answered. Renovate. It's not, I don't know why people keep on bragging about being on campus. It is really not that big of a deal for the stadium to not be on campus. It's not that big of a deal. Renovate it. And then you get somebody to sponsor. Hey, we want, I don't know. At the time when Coach Prime was here, I was like, man, I know Amazon Prime has $50 million to invest right now, or 30 or 20 million. And it could have been Prime Stadium, and they could have renovated it. Now you just look, that's what it needs to be.
I feel like it could be like, if you renovate the stadium, it's the same way that USC did.
The Gamecocks did it.
Yeah, the Gamecocks did it.
I think their stadium, when I looked it up, it was, at the time, it was built for $300,000 when they first had it, and then they put in like $20 to $30 million in it. That's what we need to do. People keep on saying it's too old, but every year we're in the stadium. Every single year, just go ahead and renovate it. Get a new jumbotron. Definitely get some new speakers in there, and renovate it.
Yeah, renovate.
So to renovate, are we talking 10 million, 20 million?
I would say 25 million.
25 million, okay.
To get a new
now to build a new stadium would be how much?
The new stadium was like 50 million. And then when people are talking about it, they were like, oh, we only need 35,000. Oh, we only need 40,000. No, you're gonna use half the amount of money to renovate a stadium, and that's good enough.
So
and
that
then I'm
sure
you'll also have more schools wanting to come there to, if you renovate it, you're going to have more schools that'll pay to actually play in it as well for their championships. So you're getting more income. Pave the parking lot, build a parking garage.
Yep.
There's an increase in your revenue right there as well.
Yep. Then with, like I said, with the renovation, kind of go with what Southern Cal did. Wait till the last game of the season when they finished up. Like they literally went to work on the stadium and pretty much upgraded it to the point where it almost looks, modern.
That's the LA Coliseum. Was
Yeah,
that the
LA Coliseum.
Yeah.
So you want to. The main thing is if you can't get a stadium, if you can't get a new stadium from the state of Mississippi, which we are like Tamona, you already know, they're not gonna do that. Right. The Tater Tot Reeds don't want to do that.
It's not just them. I mean, this is off subject, but very pertinent. We just got the $600 million for a system that cost $2 billion.
$2 billion, yeah.
So you gave us $600 million to shut us up, but by the time we need more money, Biden's probably not even going to be in office. So then we're definitely not getting that money. Democrats, it'll shake up, and then we won't get the money at all. But it's a bad deal. We should have, if they're dropping $50 billion every 2 to 3 months to Ukraine, we should have got $3 billion for not only the water but the infrastructure, the roads, and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just read an article. They say the infrastructure around the country is bad. That this country needs to be rebuilt.
Yeah, I know. Like here in Dallas, they've been doing a lot of upgrading on the freeways and the highways and stuff like that to get it up to par, because most of the stuff that was built around the 50s and the 60s.
Yeah.
So the maturation of like these bridges and overpasses and freeways has been deteriorating
right
for the last 60 years.
Right.
So the state of Texas, because like I said, we don't have a state tax, but we get most of our revenue off of the lottery. We get it from tolls. We get it from property tax. We get it from all these other different type of taxes to where, we don't have to pay a state tax.
Well, I think there was a person in, he's a white guy. He put out an article and he basically talked about how they got the funding for Alabama State and how they used Wall Street to fund it.
Okay.
And, he said to Coach Prime, he said, when you're ready to talk about it, I'm here. I would have to find that article, but that person basically stated that this is how you get the stadium, because we know that you're not going to get the funding from the state. So that's how they built the Alabama State beautiful facilities. Beautiful.
Yeah. I thought that was because of a lawsuit. The one at Alabama State, that wasn't because of a lawsuit?
No, the man told me that, or not the man, but the article was speaking about how they went to Wall Street to fund that.
What about the one at Prairie View? How did they fund the one at Prairie View?
Prairie View was
funded. I'm not sure about Prairie View, but I know that they're part of the...
Prairie View. Yeah, Prairie View was funded by private donors, and then plus Texas A&M helped out.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So it had to do with, I think Stephen Campbell said that they used bonds. But basically, when I read the article, basically what he was saying is he was giving the blueprint to how to get the stadium. And I would take that and ask him, can we just get it renovated? Because it doesn't really make sense.
Oh, okay.
HBCU football is great right now. Why don't we get a renovation that would take one season versus a stadium that would take 3 to 5 years to build?
Hey, Doc. Dr. Kavir said Texas A&M did not help out.
I forgot they didn't help out, but I think it was a lot of donations and bonds. But yeah, it's like I said, this is another subject for like a real, like a day where I have to be awful. This is gonna be a subject where you talk about this for like 2, 3, 4 hours. But thank you for coming on the show, Tamona. I'm gonna check out your podcast whenever you get it ready. Let me know when you get it ready.
Tell them to go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I'll be dropping soon.
All right.
Nice meeting you.
Thank you, Mr. Ford.
Yeah.
And Mr. Ford, thank you for coming on as always. I'm about to turn in because I've been up since about 8 o'clock this morning, and I got to do a round at work tomorrow.
All right.
So So we out of here, y'all. So
Okay.
But as always, y'all, man, I thank y'all for coming on. I thank y'all for coming on the show, and basically tuning in to the show and watching the show, man. But like I said, if you haven't done it by now, make sure that you hit that like button so we get the algorithm going and get it jumping. We are at 85 likes. Make sure we get 15 more likes to get it to 100. Also, we are at, let me see where we at on. We need 11 more subscribers, y'all. Make sure we get 11 more subscribers into it. I would drop in on Ken's live, Ken Clark. I'm not gonna stay too long, but yeah. Now, and we need 11 for 900 now. We need 11 more people for 900. So make sure y'all like the stream. First of all, make sure y'all like the stream, and then y'all make sure that make sure you like the stream, and make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Subscribe it. That's all you need to do. Subscribe to the channel. That's all. And like I said, check out Tamona's podcast that she's got it coming up. She'll be having it coming up soon on She Loves D. So she already put it in the chat. So everybody subscribe to her. Let's get her to 1,000 subscribers, y'all. Let's get her to 1,000 subscribers. Let's get her to 4,000 watch hours. It's the same thing y'all did for me. We're gonna do it for her. So let's make sure that we do the same thing for Tamona. Also, I'm gonna give a shout out to my boy DJ from Raw Truth Media for coming on to the show. Also, that's still my good brother right there. Us Texas boys, we stay repping all day, every day. So in Tamona, if you want to come back on the show, you are more than welcome to come back. That is, you have my blessings to come back in on the show. All right. Just let me know when I'll let you know what's going on, and maybe we can collab, and maybe we can brainstorm about some subjects we could talk about before National Signing Day. Just give me a thumbs up in the chat. Let me know if that's if you cool with that or not. Shout out to Travis Jones, man. Make sure y'all subscribe to that channel. Make sure you try to subscribe to the channel. I'm tongue tied, y'all. Okay, we gonna get there. We gonna get there. All right. But make sure y'all subscribe to this channel. Make sure you subscribe to her channel. Make sure you subscribe to DJ Raw Truth Media on his channel. Also make sure y'all, we give Mr. Ford his flowers. Let's see who else. We got Ken Clark. Subscribe to his channel, 1400 Club with Tiger Talk. Subscribe to their channel. You know what I'm saying? My boy Hoop Jargon was up in here. Subscribe to his channel, Between the Game Sports. Subscribe. Tomorrow's Leader Sports Network with Coach Walker. Subscribe to him. Man, I'm just name dropping. I don't care. Blue Bloods, always. My boy, I don't care what people say about you. You're still my boy. Subscribe to him, man. If you want analytics, if you want the 411 on all FCS football, you subscribe to that man. And if you Blue, if you still in the chat, let me know if you get down to if you coming to Frisco for the FCS championship. Hey, let me know. I'll be there so I can kind of do some recording and stuff like that. So I'm trying to get the channel back, trying to get it up with us. Yeah, Blue good with all of us, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Yep, that's light skinned nephew. So man, look, I appreciate y'all, and we had like I said, we had a good holiday. We had a good I know everybody had a good Christmas, a Merry Christmas. I did. I did. Like I said, I spent it with my mother and my sisters and all my nieces, my nieces and my nephews. Even though my baby girl was in Houston to go see her cousin, and then my oldest daughter went home to Greenville, Mississippi to go see her grandmother, and she get ready to go out of the country because she turns 21 on Wednesday. So proud dad. But yeah, man, look, we just gonna keep this thing going. Like I said, we need 11 subscribers. We need 11 more people to subscribe to get to 900. And then after that, we're going to get to 1,000. I'm trying to get to 1,000 but I'm trying to get to 1,000 by New Year's. By New Year's, that's what I'm trying to do. Trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by New Year's. So, hey, we're going to come up with some fire content, and we're going to get this thing going. We're going to get this thing going. Yeah, Edwin. Yeah, she down in Greenville, in the Delta. That was... baby girl was born at Greenville, Mississippi. So if I don't get to talk to her, she see this, Desiree Dominique, happy birthday. This is coming from your father. This is coming from your dad. All right. I know you're gonna be out of the country, going to the Bahamas on a cruise. Hey, I'm proud of you. All right. Make sure you have fun and don't do nothing stupid. Even though I know you're going to be with your mom, don't do nothing stupid. All right? So enjoy your birthday in the Bahamas. All right? But anyway, last but not least, man, like I said, give kudos to Esaias Guthrie and Tristen Sion for coming on to the show to do the interview with me. It was so nice. I had to do it twice. Had both of them come on there. Yeah, man. Look, they are some kids, man. Especially Esaias saying he's about to go in for his master's. Man, that's the greatest thing I ever heard right there. And then Tristen saying he wants to be. I forgot. I think it was it had something to do with computers. So. With a major like that. So these kids are trying to go out there and be able to do stuff where it's not so easy. They want a challenge. These kids want a challenge. All right. How much money you got? How much money I have after Christmas? I got enough money to get myself on the bus to work and get myself back home. That's how much money I got left. And I'm gonna save some so I could have some in my pocket for New Year's. You know how you do. You know how we do. Black folks do. Shoot, make sure we have money in our pocket for New Year's. That way we turn out for the New Year with money. I'm a stickler for that. All right. I'm a stickler for that. So, yeah, man. But as always, this your boy Doc Holiday. This has been another HBCU OverDrive live show where HBCUs matter. Please hit the like button, get the algorithm going. Make sure you share this with your people and comment because I read all the comments, y'all. And most of all, subscribe. Subscribe to become the member of the hottest HBCU podcast that's on YouTube right now. I'm on all platforms, YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitter. Also, make sure you hit that notification bell on YouTube to get everything HBCU OverDrive. So that way, when you know what I'm going on, when I'm going to get ready to go online, go live on the show, you right there with me, man. You're right there with me. And like I said, you can catch me on Facebook Live, David E. Smith Douglas. That's my name on there on Facebook Live. You catch me on there, add me on there, and also on Twitter HBCU OverDrive. Also, same thing on Instagram, HBCU_OverDrive. But until then, remember, y'all, be blessed, stay safe, and stay dangerous. Peace.